Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Hidden Agenda. Sorry for our late start here. We had I almost got it down there too. You said you passed it by asphalt company?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had some straight line winds coming here, boy. I'm trying to grill steaks and it popped me right in the eye. Something got me in the eye.
That's brutal.
Yeah, so anyway, if I'm rubbing my eye, forgive me. Again, welcome to the Hidden Agenda. It's Blake and I tonight. We're going to recap the Industrial Development Board meeting from last Friday, the city meeting, which was the utility meeting for the City of Lexington Board on Monday, and then the board meeting, the County Commission meeting from, Tuesday.
Tuesday, yeah.
So,
which was also a budget meeting as well.
Right, yeah, budget committee meeting as well. Yeah. So we're going to recap all those meetings, and we're going to talk about the post that went up today. I know I've received a lot of messages on it, so and talked to quite a few people about it. But we're gonna cover some of the bases on that there as well. And before we get started, I'm gonna bring up something about the city because this is something that kind of it has been developing, and we've been trying to pay attention to it and getting information on it. Back, I don't know, October, November last year, city firefighter was pulled over in Madison County for DUI. I believe the conviction actually came down in March, and the firefighter is no longer an employee of the city, and there is a reason for that. When you go back in on the city's website, and I want to bring this here up to you because I really want to read something to you, because we keep hearing about, oh, people are going to sue. They're going to sue if we fire anybody. They're going to sue. Okay, you know what? Let me read you the city ordinance. Now, this was established. The last change was back in 2009. The exact date was May 5th, 2009. So, the department head, with witness and direction of personnel director, may dismiss or demote an employee for just cause, that is for the good of the city service, for no cause, or for any cause, as long as it does not violate state and federal law or the municipal code itself. And they give you a long list of reasons for dismissal, which include but shall not be limited to misconduct, negligence, incompetence, insubordination, unauthorized absences, falsifying records, or violating any of the charter provisions, ordinances, or these rules, or these rules. Now, subsection K here. Loss of an employee's driver's license and driving privileges by due process of law when the employee's position makes operating a motor vehicle necessary in performing their duties. Well, that makes sense. We had a firefighter, like I said, no longer with the city, arrested for DUI, lose the license, and they, when they did, I mean, can't drive a fire truck.
Right.
You ain't got a license. And we have now found out that there is a supervisor in the Public Works Department who has also lost their license, and what we're being told is they are actually have an employee drive them around. So we're allocating one person to drive somebody, a supervisor, around. Now, we've all heard when the discussion about the vehicles come up, which we still have not, the city still has not resolved that issue. But when the discussion of the vehicles come up, all the supervisors got to have vehicles. They're on call. Well, how can somebody be on call if they don't have a license? So that's a major concern. But I'm going to tell you the real big concern to me here is, and you may chime in on this as well. If an employee was let go for DUI, and then another employee is not let go, that opens the city up to lawsuit.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, there's concerns there with that there. But I do want to come in here and one more time say this here. When you read that, it specifically states for no cause. This is the municipal code that you can find on the city's website, and where it's found is under the city recorder function.
Right.
So you just click on the little three lines, the menu, hit the drop down menu, go to city record, or go to City Hall, City Recorder and Finances, Municipal Code, and go to page 54, and you can start reading it from there.
Right.
So this is an issue that we're going to see what happens here. This is a major concern, especially if we're having to allocate money,
Right.
which we're already being taxed heavy as it is in the city. We'll have to see what happens there. But anyway, I wanted to get that out there for you so you know what's going on there. What I'm going to kind of do here is, I did not attend a city meeting. I did not attend a county meeting. I'm kind of getting in my short rows. June 29th is our official leave date.
Coming up quick.
So, yeah, that's coming up. Yeah, that's coming up. So, Blake is there. Can you still hear audio? I'm showing that we've got good signal here. We're clipping up and we're clipping the hair a bit. I noticed that Andrea mentioned it lost audio. Has anybody else got any issues with audio? Just chime in if you would. But anyway, this is where we are. Blake's going to take in. Is kind of going to cover what happened in the city and in the county.
Yeah. So I guess we'll start with the industrial board.
Yeah, let's back up to that. Now, we were both in attendance for that one there.
Yeah, I said we can both talk about that. So this is the first meeting that I remember since I've really been attending meetings. Like I said, there was supposedly one that took place on August 7th, 2025, where they had an approval or correction of those prior meeting minutes. I don't know if you remember that one or not, but like I said, that was one of the things that we were kind of curious about going into it. I don't recall that meeting happening.
Well,
but there was minutes.
I did a little bit. Yeah, there were minutes, and they approved the minutes.
Yeah.
There's a little bit more digging I checked into here. They had meetings in June of last year and April of last year.
Oh.
Was not aware of that there because I kept hearing about the fact that they hadn't met in years.
Right.
And now all of a sudden
they have multiple meetings.
Right. And they got minutes to substantiate them.
Well,
that's a question mark. I think at this point in time frame, it may be worth making a request of the audio recordings of those meetings.
Yeah, they're supposed to be.
So the city hall would have that there. So maybe it's just a matter of we need to make a request to
get
the audio meetings.
Yeah.
That way we can verify everything is correct on it.
Right. Yeah, and actually see what took place. I mean,
right.
That's that's one of my main concerns. So the next big thing of discussion was the TNECD site development grant. So that's the grant that was the $5 million that was originally no match. Then there's $2.5 million match, but for an industrial ready building out there.
Right.
So there was quite a bit of discussion about that. I mean, that was probably the bulk of discussion that took place. First, Mayor Wildridge wasn't there, so they were kind of discussing, like, what do we need to do here? What's going on? What are the parameters of this? Is it something we gotta accept now, or can we accept it later? Of course, Mayor Woodward showed up and, like I said, tried to correct which I stepped in some and tried to answer some of the questions that, like I said, we had talked about before, just to help keep the meeting moving along. But at the end of the day, he come back and was explaining how the grant funding mechanism would work. So how we're going to have to come up with this, $7.5 million essentially now.
Right.
And it's I'm still not 100% sure because, like I said, it's kind of going back and forth. At first, it was explained to me that we would just have to pay our percentage. When me and Gordon had Mr. Woodward, the mayor, had a discussion after the first time he mentioned it was going to be a $2.5 million match, and I was like, that doesn't align with any of the grant language that I've seen. He was explaining that since it's now 1/3 match, that essentially you would pay 1/3 of every bill as it came due. So, for instance, if there was a $100,000 bill that came in, you would pay for 1/3 of it. The other 2/3 would be paid out of this grant. Well, at the meeting the other night, he pretty much explained that no, the first $5 million would essentially be split 50-50.
Right.
Like we would both up to the $5 million mark, $2.5 million, we both split it 50-50. Then after that, the rest of this 1/3, or I'd say that after the rest of this $2.5 million will be paid out from the grant.
Right.
And these are a lot of contingency fees. All right. Well, as you get to listening, and this is what's just so great, and like I said, it absolutely floors me. A lot of these contingency fees are like kickback fees to Southwest Tennessee Development District and to this engineering group and to this bunch over here. And so like a lot of non-governmental organizations, NGOs, end up getting like this payment for
what?
Yeah, not real sure.
Right. Yeah.
Like I said, it seems like a nice way that we could fund them out of this grant, essentially.
Right.
So talked about that, and Mayor.
And if I can interrupt you for a second,
Yeah, go ahead.
Maybe put that a little bit in layman's terms.
Yes.
One of the things that Mayor Wildridge talked about was he had priced a building,
Similar building. Yeah.
a similar building, and he had priced a company that would do the labor.
Yeah.
And roughly, if we built this building on our own,
Yeah.
it would cost us $3 million.
Right.
By the time you get in all these fees and stuff,
Right.
it's a $7.5 million project.
Right.
That's a concern of mine because everybody seems to think that grant money is free money. There is no free money.
That's right.
That is taxpayers' money.
Yeah.
That's your money.
Yeah.
Now, the problem is grant's going to keep going on, so if we get into a grant, we might as well because it's our money that's coming back to us in some way, shape, form, or fashion.
Right.
But what kind of bugs me here is a $3 million building is going to take and cost the taxpayers $7.5 million.
Potentially, yes. So that was where I must admit, like I said, go back to listening to Gordon. He had talked to several other counties that had received similar grants. A lot of these places have already went through with the actual, erection of this building. And partnership was one of the things that was kind of wild to explain. One of them had taken this $2.5 million match that we had to come up with, and they had a private company make that match on their behalf. So like they essentially said, hey, we'll partner together with this and allow you to essentially use this $5 million if you'll cover our $2.5 million portion of it. Right. The other option was that we could get a private equity group essentially to loan us the money for $2.5 million, but then obviously we would have to pay them back with interest. But when he said that, as far as partnering, it kind of rang a bell in my head of like, oh, I thought we had to build the building and then search for someone. But if we can go ahead and market it and get somebody to come in and pay it, this could be a tremendous opportunity to market our industrial park. Because go out there and try to market it right now. One, we can't find anything about it, right? Because it's all tied up in this Austin Consulting Group, the Select Portal, and we want to make sure we get the right people. But if we can take, instead of just marketing, hey, we got a great industrial park, hey, we've got access to utilities and stuff like that, and hey, we've got a workforce that's ready in not only our county but in the surrounding counties that will come in. But hey, we also got $5 million we're willing to put towards your building. That's like I said,
Right.
You can use it pretty much any way, shape, or form you want. We got an engineer set up so we can make this and build it to the spec that you desire. Well, that's a real big plus in my mind. It's something that will probably perk the ears of a lot of larger companies. And so, is there a possible way that we can use this to, really drive engagement and get people down here to look at our park, right, and see what we have to offer, and then at the end of the day, we can essentially review who these potential prospects are and see who's going to be the best fit for this money. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, if we can get 20 candidates, then there's a possibility that we could see who is going to bring in the most jobs, who's going to possibly bring in the most sales, and do a combination of that and look at how are we going to receive this funding back. Because, you know, at the end of the day, part of this grant stipulation is too, the industrial board has to own it for what, 10 or 20 years.
Yeah.
I say it's a significant period of time. And so my other thought with it though is not only are we marketing it for that one specific building, but when you're out here showing it to all these people and getting them to come in and look and see what we all have to offer, if we don't choose them, if they're not the end of like the winner of this, maybe we can go back to them with these pilot agreements that we do for a lot of them and say, hey, you know, we appreciate your, you know, you looking at us and seeing everything we have to offer. We hope that you would still be interested, and we would like to discuss a pilot agreement with you. That is where you can do a payment in lieu of taxes, and so structure it to where, and this is the problem. Right now, we do it to where you get no payment whatsoever. We just give everything away,
Right.
And so that's not what we need to do in my mind. We need to set up a payment that is pretty equal to what's going to normally be generated through real property and personal property taxes,
Right.
somewhere close to it. But then say, hey, we're going to have these variables that can reduce that payment amount. And so, hey, if you employ, let's say 25 people, we'll reduce it 20%. Hey, if you employ 50 people, we'll reduce it 40%. If you'll employ 100 people, we'll reduce it 60%.
Right.
And then, if you'll do $10 million in sales, you know, we can reduce it another 10%. Somewhere to where we can draw that payment in lieu of taxes, that original figure down to say 10 or 15%, but it's driven by other variables that,
Right.
like
The benefits, right.
the people here,
Right,
and
yeah.
like I said, and we end up getting the revenue back in different forms. So, you know, real property taxes by people owning, you know, homes here, or by paying, you know, sales tax, and the same thing with them, the company paying sales tax. I mean, that's a huge thing as far as a revenue source for us.
Right.
And so, if we can drive that, and like I said, I think that would be fantastic. So, if we could get 2 to 5 companies out of this instead of just one, like I said, I think that would be a real game winner. So what I propose to them, and I've talked to a few of the members, is this next 6 to 9 months, so they don't have to have an answer back about whether or not they're going to accept the grant or turn it back in for the next about year. At that point in time, they need to either turn it back in or, like I said, commit to it 100%.
Right.
And if we don't do that, like I said, and we 2 or 3 years down the road decide, hey, we're not going to do this, they may not give us an opportunity at these kind of grant again. It could be kind of held against us essentially. So, get 2 or 3 people in here. I think it's really a big opportunity for us to market this. So 6 to 9 months of heavy marketing, advertising, reaching out to all of, like I said, larger companies that we can to find, say, hey, come here, come look at what we have to offer, and like I said, work with them to reduce what they propose to writing so that we can review it and make an actual educated decision on who would be the best fit to essentially. I mean, we're handing over $5 million essentially,
Right.
and at the end of the day, I think that's a huge benefit to this group or organization, and it's something that would really perk the ears of a lot of people. Instead of just, hey, we got an industrial park with all the utilities. Well, that's cool. You know, there's 100 of them within a 200 square mile radius. So, like, what's the real big sale here? You got $5 million to give, and it's like, oh, okay, you have my attention now.
Yeah.
You know.
All right. And that, there's a question. Did I hear him mention a Chinese company? Yes. There was mention of a Chinese company being interested.
Yes.
Moving in here.
Yes,
So,
and also NIDEC. NIDEC was one of the ones that was very interested in it as well.
Right.
And that was one of the ones that, like I said, they kind of talked about maybe having some preference because of, you know, them being here in the community for a longer period of time and doing what they have. And I'm not 100% against that. Like I said, having some preference. My thing is, though, is we don't need to just jump on it right away. We need to market out there to others to also show NIDEC what the value of it is to other people, you know what I'm
Right.
saying, and what they're bringing to the table, and make sure that theirs is comparable,
Right.
you know what I'm saying, and that's my concern.
Okay. And that's pretty much what was the gist of the Industrial
The-
Development Board meeting.
There was one other
Okay,
thing.
That's right. That's right. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Pop that
say
in there too.
the website.
Yeah.
Okay, this one's great.
about this one?
Yeah, so we spent like $10,000 roughly already on this website.
Yeah.
Don't really know where the money came from. Don't really know anything about it. But all of a sudden, I guess they get an IOU that says, "Hey, you still owe us all this money," and they're like, "What for?"
Yeah.
Well, who are you? What did you do for us? What do we owe you money for? And it was like, well, we're developing a website for you. What website? You know what? can I see it?
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you got to pay us first, and then we'll show it to you.
Right.
So of course Gordon pushed
And
back.
if you don't want the website, you
This-
still owe us the money.
Times 50%, if I'm not mistaken. So it's like 150% over the actual. So you would end up paying more to not get the product delivered or the service delivered versus what you would just going forward with the website. Was my understanding of it. And
What I gathered was either way they have to pay for the website,
yes,
so they can take a bail on it right now and not get the website
yep,
and still pay for it,
yeah,
or they can get the website and pay for it.
right,
I mean, they got to pay for it either way.
yes. And this is just for the like creation development of the website. So
That's
like
not for the hosting of it.
that's correct, or any back end services or anything like that of maintaining it or nothing at all. And so that was like one of the next questions was, well, is this website just gonna be like a standalone website? Like, how are people gonna find this? Can we put it on the City of Lexington's webpage? And so I think they went back with them and seen if they can, like I said, roll it together with the City of Lexington's webpage. And from my understanding, it's only like 3 tabs or 3 pages within there, and it was pretty bare bones. I haven't seen it, but it's, I mean, I guess we're about $18,000 or something, $18,000 we're gonna spend on this thing. Yeah, a lot of money, a lot of money.
Wasteful money.
Yes, not great marketing in my mind.
No, not by any means.
Yeah,
All right.
and that was about it.
All right, Clay. There aren't enough employees for current companies. Why invite a new one? Our infrastructure from roads to utilities can't handle population growth. Clay, I'm right there with you, brother. Now, some people will argue with me on this here, but I agree with you 110%.
Right.
You know, our roads are in horrendous shape.
Yeah.
You start putting more traffic on it, heavy traffic when you start bringing in trucking, having to move this equipment,
Right.
whatever this industry brings in. All that taxes our infrastructure.
Right.
And again, you keep hearing the word pilot, a pilot program.
Yeah.
What that means is we're giving them a bunch of stuff.
Yes.
In exchange, they provide jobs.
Right.
So they're not helping us with our infrastructure.
Right.
So, you know, yeah, these industries coming in, if they're not helping us any,
Right.
but they're using it and putting more of a burden on it, I agree with what you're saying there, Clay. And even population, not just industry, but I mean, and I still have the same question I'll ask 100 times. Where is the land coming from? You can't just, you know, God ain't creating no more land. We got what we got.
Right.
And people who own it, it's their property.
Right.
They have the choice whether they want to sell it or not.
Right. So I will push back some on that. So yes, I agree with that. Like I said, a lot of our road infrastructure is in pretty rough shape. How about the 22 to 40 is not just, it's not the worst of the stretch. It's once you start going back towards town and on 412 and like I said, out in our county roads that are pretty rough. Nonetheless, so the infrastructure that is in the industrial park out there out north right now has been pretty upgraded. Like I said, so they put in the new water tower.
Yeah.
It's about done. They obviously upgraded the electrical substation there
Yeah.
to handle the load. And then also we've just redone, you know, the sewer line down Old Huntington Road from 6 to 12 inches because that was, like, from my understanding, the last capacity bottleneck that we had for the sewer. And that ran to the industrial park. The other thing you were talking about was workforce. So remember 2 or 3 years ago when we had, I believe it was a Japanese company or something that was looking at coming out here and they wanted to do a workforce study. Hey, you know, do you have housing here? Do you have a workforce that's, when they looked at the people that were working at these facilities, 60 to 70% of them didn't live in this county. So they were working, you know, here, but traveling back to Madison, Carroll, Chester, Decatur, you know, all over the place. Okay, and so I think if we just look at our workforce here, yeah, it may be smaller, but if we grow it out to say like a 45-mile range, it starts to look a little different. And so that's what, like, right now people are probably driving, a lot of them, you know, 45 minutes to an hour to get to work. And so can we look at that and see if that's enough to sustain this and bring in more people essentially looking for jobs, or not looking for jobs, but looking to employ people. And when you have more people actively seeking to employ people and there's a limited amount of people that are employees, you're going to watch those raises continue to rise up naturally, because how are you going to get other people to come work for you? Well, if I can't pull them off one job because, you know, they're getting paid $20 an hour over here and I'm trying to get 18, well, now I'll give them 22. And so my thing is competition through economics.
Right, but you know, and again, you know, and I kind of look at it from a little bit different perspective of, if you don't have the people available,
Right.
I mean, you can take and let's say one company comes in here, like you're saying, this company A is over here paying $20 an hour, and this new company comes in here and say, well, I got to pay 22. Well, they're going to steal from company A,
Right.
and then company A is in a bad situation. So we haven't done anything
Right.
other than the fact that we've shifted from one company to another company,
Right.
and we're still in the same sense that there may be some additional monies being paid into the workforce, but let's go back in and say this here again. If we're getting 60 to 70% of our workforce from outside of county lines,
Right.
that money's not generating the county.
That's
Now,
right.
now on the flip side,
Yeah.
I know we've got people in our county that goes to Madison County to work because there's higher paying jobs.
That's
there.
right.
So
Could we bring some of them back home?
could we? I mean, it's a possibility. I mean,
Potential.
and but I'm still of the thing is we got to stop putting the cart before the horse.
Right.
We keep wanting to get growth. We want to get growth. We want to get growth, and this is a typical party play. Oh, we created jobs. Well, you know what? Yeah, let's go back in and look at it. You may have created jobs, but did you steal other jobs
Right.
to create those jobs?
Right.
And has it really played out any? And this is another big issue I've got is how do I say this here? I went in and looked today, and on average, what I saw, we were ranked 29th in median household income, and we're 27th in median house prices.
Right.
Now everybody talks about, oh, well, we've got low taxes, we've got low taxes. Bottom line is, yeah, we may have some low taxes, but what's happening is cost of everything here is going up.
Right.
When everything costs more, you generate more revenue in taxes.
Right.
So you don't necessarily have to have high taxes to get people to come in, but what it does is it drives up the value of the cost of goods. And to me, where I can understand where some people are upset about it, when we do that there, we kind of take away from the people who are here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not saying that there should be sovereignty here, just because you're from here and all this is happening. But we still have to take care of the people here. They have to be kind of our priority.
Right.
That's just kind of how I see it. We got to take care of our own before we can help somebody else.
Right.
And
so I guess how is, like, and this is a general question, how is, if we can have somebody come in here and provide maybe higher paying jobs or whatever, and maybe bring people closer to home and able to get back forth to work, maybe spend more time at home, not providing for the people here. And also, just one other thing was, you mentioned that we don't have the land, or like I said, that, people aren't going to voluntarily sell the land.
Right.
Well, at least in the North Industrial Park, we own like 150, 200 acres that has been in the industrial board now for years. That like it's just sitting there vacant, like it is not doing anything, and we're not getting any tax revenue off of it whatsoever at this point in time. And so, like, how can we get that back on the tax rolls to generate, like you're talking about, property tax coming in?
And I understand where you are there, and I get that. And to answer your question about how is it not helping the people,
Right.
there's such an influx of people coming in
Right.
that's driving the prices up,
Right.
and that's hurting the people that are here. And so, are we helping them in that sense there? About maybe offering some higher paying jobs? Sure, but right now, I know, heck, one down I-40 every day, I'm sorry, 22 every day,
Right.
and they pass a big billboard.
Right. Hiring.
NIDEC is hiring.
Yeah.
I mean, there's factory jobs open right now in the city of Lexington
Right.
that's not getting filled.
Right.
So we're going to create more jobs and then more openings.
Right.
And again, we're taxing and putting more stress on our infrastructure, and the people are carrying the burden.
Right.
And then we're sitting here, we're seeing rates increase. We're seeing, utilities going through the roof. We're seeing our infrastructure crumble, and the people here are still paying the lion's share of it,
Right.
and they're not generating anything.
Right.
And every time we bring an industry in, and we've brought in industry since I've been paying attention to politics,
Right.
and it hasn't fixed the problem. I just see the problem continue
Right.
to compound and get worse and worse and worse.
Right. Well, and that's, like I said, while the pilot agreements, I think, like, right now we've just been giving away everything. You know what I'm saying? Like,
But no, that's it. We've been giving it away.
Right.
And what's going to change that?
well, right now though, the way we've been doing it though is like you give us this proposal that you're going to do all this stuff. You're going to generate, let's say, $50 million in sales tax, right, or sales revenue, and that's going to be subject to tax, right? And so we're going to get that sales tax. Oh, and you're going to employ 50 people. Well, that sounds great. So we'll just do away with it all of the property taxes, personal and real, under this pilot program. The problem is though right now is we don't actually have any mechanism to check that and make sure, and like I said, provide some variables that account for it. And that's why I was saying earlier, like in my mind, we do a staggered approach to try to reduce it. So your payment in lieu of taxes is going to be, let's say, 80% of what your real and personal property tax. So you already have some incentive, right? You got that 20% reduction. And then not only that in the value, but the administrative side. So personal property tax is a nightmare for a lot of companies. If you have a business, you know personal property taxes that you have to report. It's not fun to do. All right, so you remove that. All right, so that's a benefit. But then in order for them to get down to say, and I still say you cap it at like 15 or 20%. So you're still going to make 20% of that payment in lieu of taxes, whatever that value is, right, immediately. But you can reduce that you can reduce it down to there based on variables of like how many people you employ and how much sales tax revenue you generate.
I understand all that, and I
Right.
get what you're saying. What I'm getting at is,
It has to be driven by numbers in my mind.
right.
We can't just give it away.
Right, but where my problem is let's go back to you just talking about industrial
Yeah.
park. We have spent money, and it's rate money when you're looking at utilities.
100%.
It's not tax money; it's
Right.
rate money,
Yeah.
and we're the rate payers.
Yeah.
The citizens are paying these rates,
Yeah.
and what we've got is we've got a brand new water tower
Yeah.
sitting out by the industrial park.
Yeah.
Hasn't
New
helped any.
substation.
Got a brand new substation sitting out there.
Yeah.
We've got brand new sewer lines being put in for the industrial park.
Right.
At what point in time do the citizens of Lexington and Henderson County
Right.
start getting something back for the money that they're paying? They're paying for all of this stuff here.
100%.
And heck, we hear about people constantly having problems with sediment and discoloration in their water.
Right.
I mean, hey, we got an industrial park and we made sure we got them sewer,
Right.
but there's other people who don't have sewer.
Right. No, I agree with that.
You know,
100%.
that's what I'm saying is we keep we keep constantly more jobs, more industry,
Right.
and we're neglecting the people here. We have
100%.
got to figure out a way to take care of the people here
Oh, I agree with
because
that.
we're carrying the load, and then start looking at this growth here.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's
The unfortunate thing is, though, at this point, we've already spent that money for all this stuff, and so like that's where my frustration is like that money's said and gone. You know
right,
what I'm saying?
and you're right.
Like it is. So like, but we have to move forward at this point with what we have, and we need to get these back on the tax rolls. Like that is my biggest concern. If we have all this prime
But you know,
land,
if we're
off
doing
of it.
if we're doing pilot programs,
Right.
it's not coming back on the tax rolls.
not the way we currently do it now. I agree 100% with that. And that's
that-
why I said I think we have to have an approach that does something to make sure that we generate that value back in either sales tax revenue or in, like I said, people being employed, whether it is 100% here or not. Like my thing is too is I don't want to make it so administratively burdensome on whoever obtains it that like for them to qualify for it they have to spend weeks on weeks, bringing forth data and information to show hey we qualify for this. Because who then on our side is going to verify it? We just found that verification issue with the speed
Right,
bump thing.
right.
Would anybody verify this? Well, yeah, no, not really. We'll talk about that later.
It's just it's,
But the other thing I just want to mention, just one quick thing, and like I said, you'll probably find it pretty funny. All right, so you mentioned it taking jobs, okay? So when the guy running the shovel seen the dozer and the excavator come in, he's like, that thing's going to take my job, right? So like 10 people that was running shovels now can be done by one person running an excavator. When it's like, well, you're taking jobs. It's like, yeah, we're doing more with less. Like we're doing this faster, we can do more, we have options to do more. All right, and so like people push back and say, well, yeah, but you're taking jobs, and it's like, so if that's the case, and we're wanting to create more jobs, should we then give them a spoon so that we have to have 100 people out here digging what was 10 before?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And like that's in my mind, like at the end of the day, the market will continue to evolve, and I mean that's part of the reason too. I think that we see a lot less people, having factory jobs and stuff. There's a lot more people working from home now. When COVID happened, and like I said, we had a
Right.
massive shift to at work or homework like that. changed drastically what people do for employment. Like, not only is it, that they're working with their hands now, what I'm saying, and creating something, producing like a good. A lot of it now is services based online. You know what I'm saying? Like they're creating website, or they're doing this, and so it has changed it. But if we had a decent paying job, if I'm not mistaken, the medical group out there in the industrial park, I think they've got some pretty high paying jobs over there. People run CNC machines and stuff like that to create these parts or do 3D printing. I think they're pretty well, and so some people may jump back into that type of workforce environment.
Right, and I'm just going to say one other thing too. We're going to take some questions here in just a second. Okay, let's say we bring in 100 good paying jobs, paying higher than what's being paid around here right now.
Right.
So everybody mass exodus is from NIDEC. Now I'm throwing hypothetical numbers out here because I have no clue.
Right.
Let's say NIDEC has 500 employees.
Right.
Well, they lose 1/5 of their workforce to somebody else paying a higher paying job.
Right.
And NIDEC's bottom line cannot justify saying, hey, you know what, we're going to take and bump up our salaries. Right. So NIDEC closes, and now, we got 100 people that's making some more money,
right,
and we got 400 unemployed.
Right.
And then, where do they go?
Right.
It gets to the point, it's a revolving door of bringing industry in, losing industry. Right. As we bring in new industry, we lose industry because our workforce is just it's pretty stagnant.
Right.
And that's what, like I said, again, there's so much focus on industry, and I want to see more focus on people.
Right.
That's kind of, that's my perspective.
Right.
Let's take some questions here. Candy, there are so many people in Hale Town page constantly asking for jobs. They're looking for good paying factory jobs. And I want to say this here. Good paying is a subjective term.
Right.
If somebody wants to go out here and make $40 an hour, tell you what,
you better learn skill.
You better have some damn good skills.
Yeah.
I mean, some mighty good skills. Probably some management behind you.
Right.
Much higher education to be able to make that type of money.
Right.
Good paying, but at the same point in time frame, because prices keep getting driven up, and when you bring in more industry, it drives prices up, and when all this pricing goes up, what may be a good paying job today becomes not so good of a paying job. Well, then you bring in this industry who gives you, I'm paying you better, and then the next thing you know, another industry comes in here, and again, it becomes a cycle that we never get off of.
Right. But my thing is, at that time too, is I'm real big on free market, and so like I said, it's hard for me to say that like you can't come in here because you may take jobs from someone else. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, the free market, it provides for the most efficient allocation of assets and resources, in my mind. And like I said, and that's what I think statistically has been proven across the world, when you have a market that is truly a free market and not one that is controlled or influenced or manipulated by governments and regulations.
Well, that's another problem that we've got right now. And the thing is, I don't know if that's going to change.
Right.
That's the thing is, I mean, we're still being controlled by government.
Right.
The market's being controlled by government.
Right.
Alrighty. Unfortunately, again, I'm with Clay. They aren't going to pay as much as Jackson also. And Clay went on. Unfortunately, it appears Lexington brings people home from Jackson employees by adding to the city job roles. And you know what, Clay? Hold on a second. Ding, 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 ding. You got it, brother.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's exactly it. And that's part of our problem.
Right.
Let's see, Jade. I counted the other day. I've turned in 140 application with an outstanding resume attached in the last year. Either they ghost me or they tell me they aren't hiring, even though their jobs are posted.
Yeah.
That I don't have an answer to that there, but that is absolutely crazy.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
And you know what? And to me, that's something where the city really needs to be sitting back and saying, okay, if you're not willing to employ our people, then we're cutting your pilot program. I think there needs to be some very stringent strings on the pilot programs.
I agree.
That our number one focus is, if we're going to give you a tax break, you need to come in here and hire our people.
Right. Well, and that's why, like I said, I think you have this criteria, and it's applied every year. Like, you don't just do it right on the front end. Like, you do it every year and make sure they're still qualifying for this. And it can be adjusted. So, like I said, one year, let's say you have 50 employees. Next year you have 75. Well, then, let's say you bring in a bunch of robots and you're down to 25. Well, your payment in lieu of taxes is now greater. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? It has jumped back up to 60% of the value of that total 100 because you went from, like I said, employing this 75 people down to 25. And so have some mechanism in there that allows for this variation. It's clearly delineated on the front end, so you
Right.
can't say that, well, it's arbitrary. You knew what your target was. You knew what your expectations were in order to qualify for this amount of reduction. And so the other thing is too, you're talking about having funding in order to do a lot of these repairs and stuff like that. A lot of funds, sales tax is a major contributor. Having people that, like I said, can buy homes and, like I said, pay property taxes here or buy groceries here and stuff like that. Once again, major generation of funds that can be used to once again start to do a lot of these repair stuff. My thing is,
but you got to watch that there of sales tax,
right,
and the reason being is that there is I've got it somewhere. I'd have to dig it up.
right, limitations on what it can be used for, or like I said, how it can be going in through
The
the
distribution when sales tax comes back in, it is they break it down into cents.
Right,
275 cents is 2.75% on the property on the sales tax.
right,
Is our cut. The state gets their 7% of the 9.75.
right,
The maximum the state allows a municipality or county to charge is 2.75% on theirs.
right,
So we're at the maximum.
right,
So and most of that money there is allocated to the school systems.
right,
Now what's supposed to happen is there's a maintenance of effort number.
right,
So if the school system says I need $10 million, and we collect $10 million and we collect $9.9 million
right,
in sales tax, then they only should be given $100,000 out of property tax to give them their maintenance of effort.
right,
We don't need to be taking it and bulking up and this again. Here comes where the problem is with management and government.
right,
We bulk up. What's happening in the county is, and this is one of the things that kind of bugs me is when we go back in here and look at this, these claims of we've generated more money. No, we haven't. What happened there, and this is part of that post today. What happened there is the county school systems were getting way more than maintenance of effort.
right,
They tell us this is what we need,
right,
and we're supposed to give them what they asked for.
right,
And what happened was they were receiving all of the growth in the county.
yeah.
This is the problem is we have mismanagement at the county level and government.
100%, and I would say also possibly in the school board as well.
Oh,
like I said,
there's no doubt.
I mean, you look at that. That's a massive budget, massive budget.
It is.
And at the end of the day, we found out when they built the new stadium out there. Well, we have all this cash in reserves. It's like, whoa.
Well, they had all that cash because they were taking all the growth from the county.
That's right, but it's like I thought you needed all this money because you weren't able to make ends meet. But now you got all this money over here sitting in cash reserves, and it's like you feel like you're getting told two different stories.
Right,
You know what I'm
right,
saying? And that's
right.
where, like I said, I don't appreciate that. Like I want to be very transparent with how much money you have, how much money do you go through, well, how much money do you need then?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But see, they're a separate government entity,
Right.
without any real checks and balances
That's
outside
correct.
of the voters.
Yeah.
And that's a problem, and that's one of the reasons to me that the school superintendent
Yeah.
needs to be in an elected position to provide a check and balance against the school board.
Mm-hmm.
Having a hired person allows the school board total control of what happens with the money,
Right.
and it's issues in there.
Right.
All right, here, Gary. About 25 years ago, Johnson Control here in Lexington employed around 1,000 to 1,200 people. Those were good-paying jobs back then.
Right.
What about the Lowe's I just took out? That's not really part of the question, conversation. My husband loved working in Lexington, but after 8 didn't close, he's now having to drive to Jackson.
Right.
And are there no jobs, Kelly? I mean, I'm kind of curious about that. I like I said, I see advertisements, but
Right.
again, skill sets and different jobs plays a part.
And I will also say too, a lot of the things that is hard in a larger corporate environment, you're talking about like that he put in his resume and stuff like that. A lot of corporations employ some type of software to scan your resume, okay? And so if your resume doesn't have, say, 70% of the keywords they're looking for or whatever, filtered out, kicked out automatically, never seen by anybody in person whatsoever. And so if you don't, what I will say is one of the best things you can do if you're trying to get in, try to find someone that you know that works there. Whether, and I don't care what level it is, and then tell them to go to whoever the hiring manager is, or supervisor or whatever, and try to get them to say, hey, this person's applied, they're a good candidate, I know them personally, they're a good worker, whatever, and have a resume, give them a resume and see if they can give it to them in hand.
Right.
That way, like I said, it can't get lost in some system, right? It's not automatically kicked out because of something dumb. But I'm just, like I said, that's what I've seen in a lot of these larger corporate environments is, like I said, that they have systems in place that automatically scan it. It don't have certain keyword criteria, gone. Never seen by anybody at all.
Yeah, that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
I see so many people asking how to get in touch with NIDEC, but because they had put their application in, but they've not heard anything back.
Right.
Yeah, and that's probably what you're.
Yeah.
And you know, and NIDEC's not our only employer in this county. I mean,
right.
we've got some other major industries in this county too.
Yeah,
that could be looking. They're probably. I'm assuming they're probably the largest employer.
One of them for sure, but probably. Well, I say that the city may be one of the largest employers now at this point in time.
That's true,
and that's
too.
one thing that, like I said, is just drives me a little wild. At the end of the day, like, I don't think that's a good thing in my mind.
Yeah, and that's all right. So yeah, it's about the pay. I understand what you're saying there, Kelly. I appreciate you chiming in on that there. Yeah, that may be a problem, and I can understand it if we're looking at bringing in industry. I think what happens is we stereotype and we say a factory job,
Right.
and then we just look at all factory jobs.
Right.
Well, that's not the case. Every factory has different jobs.
Yeah.
One factory may be paying, I mean, even their skilled labor may be paying $15 an hour.
Right.
Where another factory over here is
30.
Is paying 30.
Yeah.
Based on what their product is.
Right.
What their manufacturing.
And what skill set that
Right.
are required and knowledge and everything else in order to perform that job.
Right.
And like I said, the thing that may be another criteria that you could add. Like I said, it's not only like they said that you employ 100 employees and like I said you're generating the sales tax. Maybe you say of these employees you have 30 that are making over $100,000, and you have 40 or 50 that are making over $50,000. 50 to $100,000. Like I said, you give some type of range that's like incentivize them to have higher paying jobs. You know what I'm saying? In order for them to qualify for this payment in lieu of taxes. Because like that's my thing right now. We have no qualifications, no criteria whatsoever. Just give the entire thing away, right?
Right.
No incentive to perform well, no incentive to create more jobs, no incentive to generate higher sales, nothing whatsoever, right? And so like, how can we incentivize them to do this? And so like, so that's like about the only thing I can think of is like, hey, we'll give you this reduction in this property tax if you will do this, and like I said, clearly delineate what it is. That way they have some numbers to hit, and like I can get an 8-year-old over here to say if they qualify for this reduction. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Give me this information. And the other thing is the company can give them this information in probably a day's time. Like it's not going to take somebody a tremendous amount of time to generate the information needed. Show, hey, here's how many employees we have. Hey, here's how many employees we have in this pay range, and this pay range, and this pay range. Do something that's very simplistic. I don't like burdening people with excessive red tape and everything else and making it so cumbersome that's like, well, it's not even worth us engaging in it, so we're just going to go somewhere else. Like, you need to make it very clear, very easy to obtain, and like I said, at the end of the day, not give away the entire baby. You're still going to have this payment in lieu of taxes of this amount automatically, this minimum, right? And then, like I said, but you can have it, the maximum's available, but you got to reduce it down to this minimum. You know what I'm saying? And that's my mind of how we can actually facilitate that and get us to have revenue coming in.
All right. Jessica, you got a good point there. Doing a follow-up call, you put a resume in or an application in,
Yeah.
it does not hurt at all to follow up. And I'll tell you right now, to me, that's something that if I was an employer, if somebody is following up, that shows me that their interest is not just a pass and fancy, that they're actually interested in getting a job.
Yeah.
And that kind of, it's a good first impression to break the ice to say, hey.
Yeah, and phone call or even email or just show up if you can. Like I said, I mean, if they have a place where that you can walk into an office and say, hey, I just want to let you know that I applied for this job. I'm just coming to introduce myself and see if there's anything else I can answer for you, or find out some more information about it. I mean, they'll probably look at you and be like, oh man, you're real serious about this. Yeah, here, let me go let you talk to the supervisor or the hiring manager or whoever it is. Sometimes, emails can get lost in the weeds, phone calls, once again. I mean, are you really serious? I mean, you just kind of picked up the phone. Sometimes that in-person visitation can mean a lot.
Right. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you got to work to work.
100%.
Using a temp service a year before hiring. I mean, some of them may be doing that. I mean, I'm not sure how the local employers do, and
No, not sure.
and that's up to the company itself. I mean, there's no control over that there. Okay, we're gonna move on because we're, damn,
Hour in.
yeah, almost.
So you want to get into the next?
I'm gonna let you take a.
Don't get a break,
No,
man.
color
Golly,
coordinated
I'm just-
shirts. No, you
I'm
know,
just kidding.
now I want to go change.
Oh yeah, man, that's a little odd, isn't it? Who
That's-
called that one out, huh?
That is mini me over there.
Yeah, literally. I'm about half the size of James, maybe a third.
Yeah, maybe a third. I'll tell you what, I'm going to let you jump into the city,
Right.
and because like I said, I didn't pay attention to any of that there. The only thing that I saw in there that I know there was a bunch of new hires again.
What happened?
Well, it's telling me OBS disconnected, and then it's reconnecting. It looks like,
Are we still live?
yeah. All right, it's telling me we're reconnected. So if we had a dip in there, sorry about that. There was a software glitch on this side here, but I'm going to pass this here off to Blake. I'm going to go refill my coffee cup and let Blake have at this here for a minute.
So this
He's
was.
going to have to get used to public talking anyway.
Oh yeah, when I say unscripted like you, I don't know if I can go for an hour though. Like I said, man.
Yeah, I'll argue that.
Yeah. So oh, coffee cup down. About broke it, man.
Yeah,
Got
that's
lucky
a
on
good
that
thing,
one.
boy.
Yeah.
I'd be in trouble with the boss later.
So this was the meeting on April 13th. That was the city of Lexington. So one of the first things that got brought up, outside of the normal approval and correction of the minutes of prior meetings, Donna Ross brought up something to correct, but this was for an actual full meeting, not a utility meeting, and so that was just kind of passed on. They approved the prior utility board meeting. Comments from the mayor. He talked about Kathy Keck coming on as the interim city recorder, which has already been kind of discussed, and then upping her pay to be essentially at the bottom end of that city recorder job, but it's a pay raise from where she currently is. But she is taking on that role right now. He's looking at, like I said, essentially it's kind of a trial run to make sure she's a good fit. It's seeming like that, and that she's going to probably roll into a full-time position there. But right now she's kind of on a trial run, but fulfilling those duties, and so we're going to pay her in accordance. The next thing was public comments, and so this one was kind of spicy. They got, I believe his name's Jeremiah Bryant, who is a gentleman that lives on Eastern Shores Drive, and he came in at questioning about the policy that was voted on at the last meeting regarding these speed bumps. So anybody that doesn't know, at the last meeting they voted to correct the policy, which I say correct, to amend the policy. To further clarify, who did we have to receive signatures from? Who could provide signatures on this? Was it, anybody that just lived on the street, or was it other feeder streets that come onto it? And also, a lot of confusion there, and that meeting. So even Jimmy White commented that he wasn't real sure what was taking place. Nonetheless, what happened after that meeting? They said apply the policy, and it looks like that Miss Rogers, if I'm not mistaken, has enough signatures for it to pass. And so what happened was the next morning at 8 a.m. after that meeting, they came out and ripped up all the speed bumps in Eastern Shores. It was literally within 12 hours of the meeting they had ripped them up. So nonetheless, he was asking about the policy. So they had amended the policy, and when you amend the policy, did the petition that came before, that was submitted before that policy amendment, does it have to be resubmitted? Or can they just, now apply it to this previously submitted petition? So they kind of went back and forth. Essentially, Gordon stated that, hey, we kind of put the cart ahead of the horse. Probably should have slowed down a little bit. He accepted responsibility. He said I should have clarified that more, and waited till we had, like I said, approved the minutes of these meetings and had made a formal vote on whether or not that this was the action to be taken. So I kind of go yes and no on that. At the end of the day, like I said, they have a policy in place, and the public works director has been the one that has been instructed to essentially act in accordance with this policy. And so if you have the signature requirements, that the public works director should act in accordance with it. Shouldn't necessarily have a board vote, but he's kind of pushed back. Mr. Wildridge has and said that maybe we're going to have a board vote on it now. So what we're looking at now is whether or not we're going to put them back down or take them up or leave them keep taken up, and kind of in a stalemate a little bit. And so at the next meeting, they're going to allow more comments about this. And so I would expect Mr. Bryant to be back to plead his case. At the end of the day, was it rushed? Maybe a little bit. This is kind of going forward. But the other thing that the point that he made was this petition was not like verified, signed off on, or anything like that. And so his claim was like, hey, they submitted this petition, but did anybody make sure that these people actually lived on this street, like, or were in the neighborhood, or is this just anybody anywhere? Don't matter if they live in the county, don't matter if they live in the state. They just sign something and say we don't want speed bumps. I don't believe Miss Rogers, like I said, did something nefarious like that. I believe that she probably genuinely went around to every house and got these signatures. But one of the concerns he brought up was like, hey, the petition form that I seen was, had lines and it was a formal document. Some of this just looks like copy paper, and people signed and said remove, or put their signature and, like I said, printed name and their address and said remove. And so, kind of some formality issue, and like I said, whether or not we're going to have an approval or a sign off, or if there's going to be a board vote. So I'll be interested to see, like I said, what comes up at this next full board meeting. The next thing that we got into was unfinished business. I don't believe there was much comments on that. So then we went into the meeting, and so, or I say meeting, the new business. So one of the first things to come up with Justin Roach was the new hires, and so like I say, new hires, the Lexington Utilities job vacancies, and so there is some vacancies in the department. Apparently there is, I believe he said 5 in total, and he was able to take, he's not wanting all 5, he's wanting 3. So he replaced 2, and he has wanting to hire 3. So he essentially moved some people around in the department. So he moved people up, and he's wanting to hire 3. So one's a wastewater lift station tech. I believe there was 2 of those. So there's 5 in total. There's a supervisor of the water department leaving, yes, there's a supervisor in the water department leaving. There's a legacy cost associated with that, it sounds like. So we're about to pay him out. And then there's a vacancy in the water department for the general maintenance. The money is already budgeted. And it sounds like the people that we're going to be hiring in are going to start at the bottom of the pay scale, and so they're not going to be massive drains. So there was a vote by the board. All voted yes. There was an inspection on the gas, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, regulatory updates. And so one of the regulatory updates was regarding the gas system. It said that they passed. Apparently, at some point in the past, there was a signage verbiage issue. That they got that amended and fixed. But other than that, the audit was state. They said we're outstanding. There was some collections. The collection and plant passed inspection, and that's for the wastewater plant and the collection. And then we had write-offs in that department of around $5,000. Brad then come up with the Lexington Electric. And was talking about quarterly write-offs, and also had some job vacancies. So let me pull that up real quick, make sure I'm trying to keep my notes. So write-offs $11,770. It sounds high, but it's a little below, I believe, what was kind of average in the past. And then of course all these were approved. There's vacancy. There's a lineman. I believe he said a cashier, and then a foreman, and then there was a LexNet individual as well, and it says we're seeking external candidates for that. So he also got a motion and approval for him to do that. The money's already in the budget for these as well. And then there was a audit compliance supplement. So we got into talking about, if you remember us talking before, that we missed our audit deadline, and so that was largely because there was some information needed to go into the full audit from the Lexington Electric that wasn't provided in a timely manner. Partially because I believe they needed some information from TVA and some information from the state regarding grants, if I'm not mistaken. And so there was essentially a compliance supplement. issue on reporting grant, you got reimbursements with ARPA fund. And so the compliance report was not released until January, and so like that was partly what made us miss the deadline, because it was supposed to be released, if I'm not mistaken, they said in like September, which would have given us more time to, like I said, complete all this stuff. So one of the things that was talked about was the capturing of invoices earlier and matching them up. So for a lot of people that don't know, in accounting, there's a revenue recognition principle, and so we want to recognize revenue when it was earned, and then match up the expenses for that revenue. And so they were saying that they didn't capture invoices, at a timely manner, and so they had to do some adjustments to make sure that that actually coincided with the expenses and when it was earned. It said overall the ending number didn't change, so our overall yearly annual number didn't change. We just had some changes in the quarters, if I'm not mistaken, and I believe it was quarters. I don't believe he said it was month. I believe they do it by the quarters. Some of these, issues with accounting and depreciation schedules and stuff like that is kind of unique to utilities, and especially with TVA utilities. They're a little different, especially when you receive grants for them as well, and how you account for that in your statements. So training and safety, it says they did a personal protective. They were fine, and they also give an update on any outages we have. Apparently there was 3 for some thunderstorms and a windy Sunday that broke a pole. And then he also mentioned that the LexNet take rate is up 1% to about 31%, or a little over 7,100 customers. So that's pretty good to see it continue to succeed. And that pretty much ends the City of Lexington meeting for what took place there. The next meeting that come up was the county meeting. So we had the budget meeting at 6, and then the county meeting at 7. So the budget meeting, they went through quite a bit of amendments. Of course, this is kind of the time that they're going to be talking about all this stuff as we kind of get into the budget cycle. And so there was a lot of different things they were talking about. A lot of it was just kind of moving, or money around between different funds or accounts. And then some of it was also, I don't know how to put this, actually pulling in additional funding for different line items. So let me go through here and kind of talk about some of the. So one of the things was in jail. There, I guess, overcapacity in the jail, so they need more for services. So I believe there was needs another $125,000 is one of the notes I took. There was a move of $396,000 in the fire department for the tanker that will be here at the end of the month, and so they went ahead and, which we've already, this fire tanker's been on order for 2 years now, if I'm not mistaken, and so it's finally about to land, and so we just moved the money over there so that once again we can pay for it. It's been budgeted for. Trying to think what else we got. Medical examiner, they end up increasing some of the funding available to them. Megan said she believed it was overestimated and hopes it comes in lower. There's an evidence-based program grant of $405,000 that's coming in. I'm trying to think what else we got. Senior Citizen Center, there was a $16,500 for the, I guess, Scotts Hill generator, and donations for the warming centers. We gave them that $500, and so they did that amendment. There's a $150,000 move for the farmers market, which was reimbursed. Solid waste grant. They're pretty much working on trying to close out the ARPA account. Apparently, that is, getting close to being finished off.
Yeah, I thought that was ending this year.
It should be, and like I said, I think she's working on trying to close that out. Apparently, she did some moving around. There's still a little bit left in there, but I think they'll have it closed out by the end of this cycle. Right. And so, like I said, next year I don't believe there will be any money left in the ARPA, which is, our year is June 30th, right? And so, like I said, that's coming up, which is why once again we're seeing these budget talks, start to come into fruition as we look at the next year. One of the things I wanted to make sure we brought up, Mayor McCready made a statement that the ambulance service didn't cost anything, that there was nothing at all. But there was, like I said, a $45,000 that went to the ambulance service at Scotts Hill, and it says I put contribution donation, and so I'm not sure if that come out of ARPA, if that was out of the general funds. Like I said, they went through this really fast, and at the end of the day, if you weren't like literally sitting at the table with them, you could barely hear. I mean, like I said, it was pretty rough. They also allocated $4,000 to Westover for the inclusive swings. There's going to be 2 swings of different sizes, so we're going to give them $4,000. The one at Darden Park, I guess, is also going to be worked on, being fixed, because once again, there's like some latches that have messed up or deteriorated or something, so they're going to send somebody there to fix those to make sure everybody has it. Yeah, I think that's by and large a lot of the stuff. Yeah, transportation fund. So, budget meeting pretty much went kind of like you would normally see. We're allocating funds. We're moving some funds around in our accounts, and pretty quiet. Wasn't a whole lot of people in attendance there, and like I said, hopefully the next time with the new broadcast system, we can actually kind of hear what's going on. Which it was there at that time, you know. But like I said, for some reason, I don't know why they didn't broadcast it. I don't know if they just want to make sure that stays kind of secretive or what.
Oh, you mean the budget committee meeting?
Yes.
I don't know why they didn't broadcast that either.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Mayor comments. So we'll get into now the 7 o'clock special call meeting for the county, not the budget. Previous minute approval. Mayor comments about it. You know, we had a lot of fires that day. I don't know if anybody, you know, I'm sure a lot of people have seen it. You know, we had a Madison County school bus caught on fire. We had a tanker that rolled over that was a gas tanker, and so we wanted to make sure it didn't catch on fire and explode in somebody's yard. And then, and I'm not sure what the name of the facility is, but the foam factory over there on Meek Drive.
HLJ or HGL or something like that.
Yeah, I say it caught on fire, and I mean it sounds like it streams because I'm sure they went through a significant volume of water. So this was something I actually learned the other day that you'll probably find very interesting, and it's highly alarming. Highly alarming. When they showed up out there to fight this fire, mind you, this is an industrial park as well, right out here. Okay. When they tied into the fire hydrant out there, apparently it worked for a while, and then they drained it. Don't know if it was like that we were low on water in this tower or what. Drained it. Went to hook up 2 other ones, didn't work at all. So I don't know if it was just completely drained, nothing available, or if like they didn't work at all. Okay, 2 different ones over there. Okay,
that ain't good
at all. Like I said, I mean that is horrific. Because when a fire happens at these places, it's going to be severe more than likely. You know what I'm saying? If you don't get it under control very quickly, I mean you're talking a very. So they were having to go to Pine Lake to fill up out of the lake and tank in water over there in order to fight this fire. Is what was happening. Because they could not access it from the fire hydrants. Yeah. Pretty alarming. And like I said, I know that has not really been brought out, but that is something that, like I said, needs some pretty serious investigation. And I don't know, like I said, if it's the fire department, fire marshal, like I said, city water, all of them together, but like that shouldn't be happening at all. And to think that, you know, we haven't tested these properly, or like I said, maybe this was just we drained it all out. But like I feel like there needs to be some type of, like I said, continuous testing. We used to have the flushing program once again where you go around and that's what they would do is, hey, we're flushing out the lines, but we're also testing to make sure that the fire hydrant here like has ample volume and pressure in the event of a fire. We can effectively fight it. Apparently, I don't know if that just went to the wayside or what, but that's highly alarming in my mind.
I knew I had seen a picture of a fire truck sitting in front of a lake.
Yes, that's what they had to. No other way to get water. So the next thing, you know, obviously went into a bunch of the audit stuff. They talked about again, you know, bringing it up to the main board now. Like I said, now to just the budget meeting, and so we kind of went over that a lot. The ambulance project, you know, that was down there in Scotts Hill. You know, that was kind of a collaborative effort between Decatur County, Scotts Hill, and Henderson County. Been needed for a very long time, and it was one thing that like I'd actually started talking to, you know, our state representatives about, and also like I said, Braden Health Corp, because at the end of the day, Braden now owns the 2 hospitals that it's going to service. So Parsons and Lexington, and so hey, you're kind of right down here at the, you know, divide at the southern end of the county for this. Like y'all should really be able to provide a better service to these people, because the problem with it is, you know, most response times were 30 to 45 minutes out there. depending on which side of Scotts Hill you are, on the north side or south side or whatever. But nonetheless, 34 response. So like that's just getting there. That's not doing any work on you or getting you in the ambulance and then getting you back to a hospital. So you're at least pretty much an hour and a half round trip. That's a significant amount of time for somebody that is in duress. At the end of the day, when you're having cardiac issues or you're stopped breathing, like that could be the difference between life and death. And so they did a very good job of, like I said, getting this available to them. Part of that was too, the state had recently, and I don't know if a lot of people know this, they voted on giving every county a new ambulance. So the state funded a new ambulance for every county. And in our instance, since we don't own the ambulance service anymore, it just flows through the county directly to the ambulance service provider. So Braden Health essentially got a new ambulance, which relieved their ability to have another ambulance that was moved down there. So nonetheless, awesome. Glad to hear, like I said, it's down there, and like I said, that these people can have a responsive, emergency services when it's needed.
Right.
Definitely an improvement. Trying to think if there's anything. I'm just kind of scrolling through this. A lot of this stuff I'd already kind of taken notes on, and we talked about before. Fire department, medical examiner, we talked about that. Health department, they're just moving funds around in there, trying to finish that out for obviously completion and furniture and yada yada. Library, there's a grant for that, where we're doing the remodel out there and some expansion. ARPA funds, talking about where they're all moving a lot of that stuff too. So $100,000 for Spectrum, broadband, that's out here on Roothammer Road. It says $48,000 part was set aside from Southwest, rest from ARPA. So Southwest didn't use all of the funding that was set aside to them, so they took that $48,000 back and they used the rest of ARPA funds to do that. Highway department, it should move in within fund. So Robin wants item strike. Apparently, item 8 on the agenda, like I said, that was removed. Let me see what that was. Oh, election commission request for e-poll books. So that was struck. Robin asked for that to be removed. The next thing was EMA hazard mitigation plan approval. I believe that just had to, go through and be approved because it's been so much time. So approval, that's annual, approved by all, no discussion. And then the notaries were approved. And then mayor's advice, since it's another county's finance department, budget committee or whatever came to see what we've been doing because we got all this money that we made. Essentially, when we got all this ARPA funds, instead of doing like a lot of counties did where they actually put the money to use real fast and, like I said, got it back out there, we held on to it and, like I said, invested it and made money. And now we're slowly trickling it out, and so we made more money to, like I said, trickle out. And so that was what happened. And so that was pretty much the end of that meeting. So
Okay.
a little bit of grandstanding,
Yeah.
Got some new TVs in there as well. They were finally up and going. Kind of in an awkward place, if you're sitting here looking forward, TVs are on your side. I don't really know why we did them on the side, but nonetheless, that's where they are. And then we ended up moving the tables forward for the commissioners so that they're closer to the mics and you can actually hear them now. Because, like I said, in the budget meeting, you couldn't hear anything. So it was better. Like I said, once they moved up, I believe the live stream you could hear them pretty well. So.
All right. We do have a question in here. Clay asked, is Decatur County still using our medical examiner coroner? That was driving up costs at one point.
No clue.
Yeah, I don't have an answer to that either, Clay. And I know you've got more knowledge than both of us combined here. I do remember that there was a major jump in how much we were paying the coroner or medical examiner.
Yeah.
I think this was 2 or 3 years ago. I'd have to go back through the budget and look at it. But I believe it was 2 or 3 years ago that there was a massive jump in how much we were paying. So I'm assuming that may be where you talked about it was driving up the cost at one point and that was compensated. But I don't know if that's the case, and if it is the case, if we're getting any kind of reimbursement for Decatur County, who knows? I mean,
I couldn't tell you that.
Yeah, we don't have an answer to that.
I'd rather not lie to you.
Yeah, that's kind of the way I look at it.
I'm not sure.
Matter
So
of
I'm not
fact,
gonna lie.
hold on a second. I'm going to back up for a second.
All right.
And
Oh man, he's gonna pull out the box. Oh Lord. He's digging in the files, guys. Just wait. He's got the proof. He's gonna bring it out. Oh, you got the budget here?
Yeah. I'm gonna see if I can find where that's at. So bear with me for a couple of minutes here to dig through this budget to see where our expenses are for medical examiner.
All right. Well, while you're doing that, I'm gonna look through your post, like I said, where you posted today, and see if we can start kind of going down that list. That sound good to you?
Sounds good to me.
And if anybody hasn't had the opportunity, you ought to go and check it out. Like I said, there's a lot of information there with notes, with records, with hey, go look here.
Yeah, that's the reason I tagged other posts in there, because you can go back in and look at the other posts and actually see all of the you can see where all the money is
right. Been going.
Where's
some
everything is
issues?
there. Everything that we shared up in there has already been shared. We're just kind of doing a refresher.
Yeah. Just make sure everybody doesn't forget. You know, some
That's
of this stuff's a little old. So the first link you posted was from back to 22. So this was back when this current administration was recently coming in, or right there about that time.
All right.
So one of the specific instances was sheriff giving the mayor a Jeep and a gas card before becoming the mayor. So apparently he just walked outside one day and boom, new car.
Yes. Yeah. And the conversation was back then. I mean, the mayor kind of tried to say,
Santa Claus
I never
dropped
drove
this
it. That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, I would think that a former police officer would be looking at something and saying,
Somebody's trying to frame me.
"Yeah, what on earth is
Where'd this come
is
from?
going on?" And I found it, Clay. So I want to make sure that I'm addressing what you're saying here, Clay. I'm going back in. I'm looking at the 24-25 budget. I don't have the 25-26 in front of me. But what happened in 22-23 for the medical examiner, we were budgeted $90,000, which is the pay for the medical examiner themselves.
Right.
Ambulance services, which like trips for autopsies and stuff, which got to go up to Nashville, was budgeted for $3,000, and premium on bonds of $50.
Maybe the medical examiners have a bond.
Yeah, it could very well be.
They may.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, to be a medical examiner, they may have to be bonded by the state. And in 23 to 24, that salary jumped from $90,000 to $120,000. And then for some reason, and I think this is when Dr. Gillen came on board, it actually went down from 120. It went from 120 down to 100. So that's the numbers that we've got. And
that could also be, if we went from taking on Decatur County to, if we went back to just us, they brought their own on.
Right.
I'm not sure. I'm
well,
just
I
speculating.
think what happened was I had talked to Dr. Gillen about it, and I don't think she was comfortable with the amount of money that was actually being paid. I think she thought it was too much.
Right.
From conversations that we had. So, yeah, that's. Hopefully that gives you some. I don't really know the answer to that, there, Clay. I really don't, but it kind of shows some differences in the accounting there.
Right.
Going into.
I'll let you do that. I gotta use the bathroom real quick.
Okay.
The Jeep issue. Let's finish that one.
Yeah, we're going to go in here to the Jeep thing. What happened was this actually occurred before. I think it actually occurred before the mayor actually won the general election. Now, obviously, unchallenged in that there. So that was a question is why did the sheriff's department, the sheriff actually give a Jeep to the incoming mayor? And if you go back through and look at that post, there is there's a letter that was drafted, and this is a corrective action plan, and this was actually posted, I know, on the sheriff's department's Facebook page. And pretty much what it said was the sheriff had deficiencies related to an office vehicle and gas card. Now, recently we've heard that there was no gas card. Well, according to this corrective action plan, there was a gas card.
Right.
So, I mean, I think the corrective action plan, I'd probably take that for being the gospel,
Right.
more so than word of mouth. Anyway, what it pretty much the plan corrective action, management will no longer allow a private citizen to use or occupy a sheriff's office vehicle. Now, what that means by a private citizen, yeah, you're saying, oh, well, that's the mayor. Well, no, he hadn't sworn in. The swearing time is going to be in September.
Right.
So he hadn't sworn in as mayor, but he had already received a gas card and a Jeep. Now, if you go back in, we've also seen in recent posts that the mayor talked about turning a vehicle in.
Right.
Well, here's where the problem lies. When all of this came about, it got turned into the comptroller. Now, from what we were told, I know I've taken the blame for it. And I'll be honest with you, I figure by now y'all understand. If I do something, I'll own it. I ain't got a problem owning it. I did not turn anybody in on this here. I didn't. All this stuff that happened, I was unaware of, because guess what? All the promises of transparency was a bunch of crap.
Right.
There was no transparency. So this information came out, and when this came out, what I was told was by numerous commissioners that this was done by Commissioner Tommy Page.
Right.
He's the one who filed all these complaints.
Yeah.
Now let's go back in to an email. Now this was an email that was sent out to the county commission. Oh, by the way, you're welcome there, Clay. And pretty much this was what the county mayor complained about. Since day one, I inherited a lawsuit that I didn't ask for. That is very true. He inherited that lawsuit that was filed by the sheriff, sued the county, sued us to get more pay for his people. So, yes, that is true. That was the outgoing mayor. Now, the outgoing mayor, neither mayor really is responsible there, because they're not the ones who filed the suit, but they're the ones who gets named because they are the head of the county.
Right.
So that's just kind of how that works. So complained about redoing my office because I didn't ask you all, because I spent money that was in the budget. Well, again, now let's come back in here. Some of the things that Blake talked about in the meeting that happened Tuesday night.
Right.
If there's a line item for something, so we budgeted, let's say $10,000. Well, and then you use it for something, it's $10,000 budgeted, but it's not for the line item of doing renovation. You have to get approval from the county commission. That's how that works.
Right.
You can't just say, "Oh, it's in my budget, I can spend it."
Right.
Well, no, it's got to be assigned to the right place in the budget.
Right.
If it's not, you come before the budget committee. The budget committee recommends it, or they don't recommend it to the county commission. If they recommend it, then the county commission has to work on it. It has to say there, yes, we vote for it and we approve it, or we don't. You can't just sit there and say, "I'm going to spend money because I got it."
Right.
It's got to be assigned to the right place.
Right.
And this here plays a big part when you go back in and start doing audits, because the auditor catches and like, well, how did you spend money here for renovation when it was assigned for salaries?
Right.
That's how that works. So, I don't know all the details on that there, because again, we don't have transparency. I'll say that 100 freaking times. We don't have transparency.
Right.
If they were transparent, then I could understand it.
Right.
And if you're having to hide something,
Not good.
that ain't good.
No.
That tells me you're trying to hide something.
Right. And at the end of the day, this is our funds. So like in my mind, when I say we, the government has everything to prove to show where the funding has went to.
Exactly.
And at the end of the day, that is the most imperative thing that government can do, is be transparent with how we're spending our money, where it's going, how we're allocating it.
If not, we can't trust them.
At all.
And they get upset when we don't trust them.
Yeah.
Or when we call them out, or we create a page and we go after them and hold them accountable for where they spend our money.
100%. And the budget thing, anyways, just always kind of floors me, because at the end of the day, my idea of a budget is like a wish list. All right, well, that's great, but like now I really want to see where the money went to. So like, give me a cash flow statement, give me an income statement, give me a balance sheet. Like, give me a general ledger. I'd love to see each individual line item where all this money went to, because that's where you get transparency. People need to know where this funding.
And that should be done every single month for the county commission.
100%.
It really should be done for the citizens.
Yeah,
because it's our money.
In my mind, like I said, I always roll back to a public corporation. So if you're invested in a public corporation, even if you're not, but like if it's listed on a public stock exchange, it's a public corporation. All right. They have quarterly filing reports. They have annual filing reports, and I mean, it is. If you've never seen one, go look at a 10K for any large corporation, International Paper, Alphabet, Google, you name it. The amount of information in there, it's a lot. Berkshire Hathaway, I mean, it's 200 pages long. Okay, but it explains all of their operations, where they lost money, where they spent money. How they performed. You know what I'm saying? Did you do well in this sector? Did bad in this sector? We performed well in this market. We performed bad, terrible in this market. But it gives you way more in-depth information. It breaks out in footnotes and explains, hey, why did we see this massive statistical difference year to year? Oh, well, we took on a large capital expenditure project, and so that's why we had, we built a whole new facility here, and so that's why you see a large jump in CapEx here. But information that delineates it in words what has happened, and like that's what I want. Like I don't want just to, we have a meeting and like I gloss over real quick. Well, we built something. Okay, like for what?
Right.
What's it for? What kind of building is it?
Right.
What are we doing with it? Like what's the plans for it? Like, and that is once again in a public corporation delineated out in these types of reports, and it is also broadcast then, and they go over it, with your shareholders or to the public in general. You don't have to be a shareholder.
But bottom line is, they're explaining what they're doing with our money.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back into this thing here because we're getting in pretty deep in time.
Oh man, who would have thought?
Was accused of bribery and turned into the comptroller's office for felony charges. I still have no clue what that is about. I never heard that one.
No.
We had this email. We shared it back then. Again, it is what it is. Accused of taking county funds and personnel to work on my daughter's restaurant. Again, I never heard that other than reading this email. I don't know who made those accusations, but I mean, things happen. I just, like I said, I think some of this stuff here, he has valid points in here. Turned into CTAS for working with the trustee's office for renegotiating our CDs. We have recently covered this here.
Mm.
That responsibility falls to the county commission.
Right.
It's in CTAS.
Yeah.
It states specifically, it doesn't say mayor, it says county commission.
Right.
Because you are dealing with the people's funds.
That's right.
And it is the county commission's responsibility to handle these funds.
That's right.
So that was a legitimate complaint and
Yeah.
should have been done, and kudos to whoever did it.
Yeah.
All righty, let's get.
And if I'm not mistaken, just to add, the county commission was pretty hot on that as well because they found out that he had done that without their approval.
Right.
And
Never talked to him.
Right. And the big issue with that is continuity. So at the end of the day, let's say that something awful happened to him, he died. He moved the funds, and then 30 minutes later, he died in a car wreck. Right.
Right.
Well, then
County
also,
commission has no clue what's going on.
where's the money at? Where'd it go?
Exactly.
Can't find it.
That's why you have to have communication.
Right.
All right. Turned into CTAS for needing to terminate a contract that the last commission voted on to end in 2023. Again, no transparency. We have no clue what that was about.
No.
All right. Accused of scratching someone's back on trying to stimulate our housing development by working with developers. Well, the only thing I can think of is that probably has something to do with that tip that came about.
Right.
And I ain't going to go into much data on that there. Stalked at my home. Well, guess what? Hey, I got blamed for this here, which was a load of crap.
No.
Because, let's go back to this Jeep.
No.
That nobody knows that a citizen, private citizen, not a sitting mayor,
No.
not an employee of the county, but a private citizen.
Right.
Because again, until you get sworn in, it don't make a damn if you win an election. Until you are sworn in, you are not that position.
Right.
So, when I heard about that there, I made a phone call to my buddy Jack Johnson. So, Jack, I just passed the mayor and his wife in a Jeep coming out of Beasley Place. And for those, if you want to know, I was going into Beasley Place that day to help my friend Tim Rhodes
Yeah.
install rails at his house.
Yeah.
So, Did I pass by him? Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Did I go by his house and stalk him? Absolutely not.
Right.
When I pass somebody on the street and I recognize them, because you know what, you're going slow
Yeah.
in that little subdivision there. I'm on Pinecone Drive. I'm turning in. He's coming up. So I'm just picking up speed, which is still slow,
Right.
and he's slowing down. So if it's stalking by passing somebody on the road,
On a public road.
on a public street,
Yeah.
then I guess I'm a stalker.
Yeah.
You know, I actually had a shirt made that says stalker alert
That's funny.
because of that crap. Yeah, and this is just him trying to get sympathy or trying to say something that happened that didn't happen. All right. Accused of taking money from the school systems, although they had a $1.1 million growth in sales tax last year. Boom, boom, boom. Now, I'm glad that we've got this in here, and I'm going to tell you the reason being. This is something that you guys need to understand. Mayor right now is claiming, oh, we've got $168,000 a year, and that's equating to like 3-cent property tax increase. Well, guess what happened? Yes, all of the growth that we were talking about earlier was going to, out of sales tax, was being funneled into the school systems by, at the time, Finance Director Lee Wilkinson,
Right.
who was the son of the school superintendent, Steve Wilkinson. That's where they got all that cash money to go in there and build that football stadium.
Yeah.
So all of the growth that should have been in here helping us fix our roads and stuff
Yeah.
was being funneled to the school systems. So I stand 110% with Mayor McCready on this here. If someone accused him of that there, you're full of crap. Because what he did was good governance to sit there and say, you know what, we're not going to allow all of our sales tax growth to go to the school systems every year if they're not going to be responsible with spending that money in repairing our schools
Right.
instead of building themselves a brand new football stadium.
Right.
So yes, I support him 110% for whoever did that there. That's BS. He got that sales tax growth back and it helped the county. But you know what? Don't tell me that you created more revenue, because this is part of the revenue that we were supposed to get in the first place.
Right.
So, you know, just kind of throw that out there. Now, also in this email, following all this list of 9 things that he come up here with, he said, I'm sure I'm missing a few other items, so I don't have time to continue to chair your commission due to these baseless, childish complaints. I will take a seat in the galley and present items that I feel are needed and move on. Okay, number one is, are some of these childish? Yeah. Is his complaint about being stalked at home childish? Absolutely.
Right.
So, you know, it's the pot calling the kettle black.
Right.
But let's get in here and look at this here. Some of these things are serious,
Right.
very serious, and he was in violation of quite a few things.
Yeah.
I mean, he violated law.
Yeah. And ethical policy. And
Right.
everything else.
And he even did it before he became mayor.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's some problems there. But let's really sit here and look at this here. Here we go. I don't have time to continue to chair your commission. So here we are, the mayor now stating that, and he actually stated this in a meeting too, that he was going to step down as the chairman of the commission.
Right.
Well, we see quite a few times where the mayor,
Says one thing. and
I'm
does
done. I'm done. I'm not running for re-election. And then what's the next thing you know? He's running for re-election.
another. Right.
I'm not going to be the chair of the commission. What happens? I'm the chair of the commission. I mean, the dude sits here constantly in back and forth,
Right.
hems and haws on his stuff. You know, personally, I find that very concerning.
Right.
Just for the fact that, you know what I mean, at what point in time frame, you know, is he going to... Another one. I'm going to be transparent, and then in this email, all this stuff that's put out there, he's not transparent.
Right.
You know, he's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and that's just what it is, and that is very dangerous for us.
Right.
And that's kind of, you know, where that is with that there. But I'm going to move on from that there. I received a ton of messages
About the consolidation.
about the consolidation of the high schools.
Yeah.
And it took me 2 days to go back and find this link
Yeah.
to where it was going, and it was a YouTube channel for PBS out of Jackson. So I'm assuming somebody invited PBS to come stream or put on their YouTube channel the state of the county address. And it was very clear in that meeting that the mayor said that he wanted to consolidate schools, and he talked about this here being part of his long-term plans and
Right.
growth.
Yeah.
Okay, well now we're in an election, and
Yeah.
this is being brought back up again. Oh, I'm not going to consolidate schools.
Yeah. Got plans for everything.
I
and he
got
wants-
plans, but now I'm going to change my plans
Yeah.
because it's caused an issue,
That's right.
and I'm running for re-election, and I need votes.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? I ain't going to elaborate on that. There, it's good enough.
Well, I mean, I will say, like I said, at the end of the day, Scottsdale High School is phenomenal. Like, as far as, like, see, if you go down there and see how the community takes care and backs all their programs, and like, I mean, it's unreal. The FFA program there, night and day difference from what's offered at Lexington High School. At the end of the day, they have access to so much more, and it's not because, like I said, that they have the funding in the school. It's because the community gets together and rallies behind them, and provides the funding through donations, through their auction, and it's fantastic to see. And at the end of the day, much needed place, like I said, because it's hard to get around. The county is huge.
It
A
is.
lot of people don't realize, like I said, how big the county really is until you get around driving around it, and it's like, man, this thing is spread out. There's places all over. And so to think, one of the main drivers too behind consolidating schools was, we got to make sure we got the best athletic programs. You know
Oh,
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
We don't want people divided up. We want to make sure we got the best of the best consolidated down here so that we can win state championships. And it's like, whoa, guys, you know, like, I'm not saying that, like, you know, sports programs aren't, you know, like I said, have some level of importance, but like, this is school.
Well, let's go back and look at something too. If we want to talk about sports,
Yeah.
if you consolidate schools,
Right.
how many student athletes are no longer playing sports?
That's right. Yeah. Like I said, because I mean, if you got 2 full football teams now, like I said, you're gonna
That's
have,
right.
you know,
You got a full football team that's going to get cut.
yeah. Are you gonna have 120 people sitting on the sidelines now?
And how long do you think that's become? It's going to be a political situation.
100%. Oh, no,
Somebody's son that's playing that ain't worth a crap, shouldn't be on the team,
Right.
is going to be a starter, and then somebody who has serious potential to be an excellent player
Is
is
on
going to
bench.
sit on the bench
Yeah.
or get cut.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and I've talked to some of you guys down there in Scotts Hill, and one of our customers was integral in getting that school system, that football program started down there.
Right.
And you guys are proud, and I'm going to tell you right now, I'm tickled to death for you for what y'all have accomplished down there.
100%.
It's just amazing.
It's fantastic.
So you know that's hats off to y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Y'all
Good
made it
thing.
happen.
Yeah,
I mean,
that-
really.
that's
I
it.
mean, the community
the
made
community
it
made it happen.
happen. Yeah.
That there is, to me, that's the strength and character of the people at Scotts Hill,
100%.
and that's how our county should be represented.
Right.
I believe that 110%. All right, let's move on in here to the next post, which is the property taxes.
Mm.
Um,
That was a good one.
Okay, if y'all remember, y'all probably haven't forgotten this here. The 74-cent property tax increase the city tried to pass.
Yeah.
Well, that upset our mayor,
Yeah.
and he made a post which he pulled down. And he pretty much, I want to read this here to you, and this is one of the things that Commissioner Jack Johnson confirmed, but we already knew it.
Right.
But Jack just, he lend a little more credence to it. But as your county mayor, they should do better.
Mm-hmm.
Our county departments need it more, but we caved to this. What he's saying is, we needed more money in the county, but we didn't ask for, we didn't get our property tax increase because of the city.
Yeah.
And it caused a big problem because people were like bent out of shape over a 74-cent property tax increase. Rightfully so.
Yeah.
So, that's what happened there, and his post eventually got taken down.
Yeah.
And then he kind of went after, at the time, Alderman Fred Ellis and Alderman Gordon Wildridge. So that's what that post is about. But and I want to tie this back in, so you understand. This was 2024. Now we've been told, we've been doing fine without doing property tax increase.
Right.
But the county was trying to pass a 27-cent tax increase. That would have been over $1.7 million in revenue. Almost 20% of their operating budget.
Yeah.
That is a lot of money. And if you're doing so good, why do you need 27 cents?
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to take and skip forward a little bit here to June 3rd, 2025. Now, I've got this here. If anybody wants to see it, I got the minutes. This was kind of snuck in a little bit there, just during the budget talks. Guess what the county wanted to do last year?
Raise rates.
They wanted to raise property taxes 10 cents.
Yeah.
Fortunately, it failed.
Yeah.
So he keeps saying that we didn't have to raise taxes, but yet he keeps asking for a property tax rate.
Right.
Because guess who presents the budgets? Mayor.
Yeah.
He's chairman of the commission. So yeah, I mean, bottom line is, you know,
We're doing so great. We got all this money, but we need more money.
that's it. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, typical government.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So anyway, there's your issues with your property taxes. Don't always listen to what the words are. Go back in and research for yourself.
Right.
Take a look at it.
Yeah.
Ask for the minutes. If you need a copy of the minutes, I got copies of the minutes. If you don't need a copy, if you don't want my copy, go down and make a public records request, and you can see the same information that we have.
Right.
The same information that you probably can sit back and watch a video and hear the same thing happen, and you can hear the votes. That's the upside to us have been bringing you these videos of these meetings, so you know what's going on.
100%.
Alrighty, next thing, September 2024 pet tax.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Boy, that was a
all you great animal lovers out here that actually own pets and like do everything lawfully. We're gonna penalize you if you don't do this now.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
We're not gonna
And
do
the
it to
people
that are-
the people who are doing wrong,
No.
we ain't worried about you. We don't want your money.
Right.
We want the people who are actually taking care of their pets.
That's right. The good property. The
good
pet
people.
owners.
Yeah, the good pet owners.
Yeah.
Okay, and now I'm going to say right now, shout out to Jack Johnson on this here.
Yeah.
Again, I talked with Jack after this was passed, and if I remember correctly, Jack actually voted for it the first time around, and then Jack's the one who made the motion to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And what happened here was the mayor told the commission, I talked to the vets.
Yeah.
Vets. It's the veterinarians. I
Right.
talked to the veterinarians.
The multiple in the county.
S is
Yeah.
plural
Yeah.
in the English language. Okay. Well, we come to find out,
That was
Jack
true.
Johnson, next day, starts calling the vets.
Yeah. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about, Jack? I don't know nothing about it. Nobody's talked to me.
Yeah.
Come to find out, the mayor had only talked to one vet.
Yeah.
Now, if we go back in here, and I want to, in the
Transparent.
post, transparency again here,
Yeah.
I want you to understand some things here in this here. The vet that the mayor talked to was at Beach Lake Animal Hospital.
Yeah.
Now, this is some of the stuff that here, if you actually go in here and read this post, it gives you a lot of information. A lot of information, gives you some history. But something too that, kind of struck me when all this was going on, and conversations I was having, and something that was brought up in the September 2024, and let's remember now, the county passes this here in September.
Yeah. They abolished it in December.
Yeah, and they abolish it in December. But in September, the city also starts talking about wanting to give $40,000 matching funds to Beach Lake Animal Hospital.
Yeah.
Well, now we're going to give tax money to a private business.
Yeah.
So, when you start digging in and you read the whole thing, it will actually blow your mind. And, Beach Lake Animal Hospital, again, was the only vet that was talked to about this here.
Right.
So, I don't know. Was that the scratching back stuff that he complained about earlier in the 2022 email?
Possibly, yeah. Or is Tim Rose put the Verizon Friends
Friends
and
and family
plan?
plans. I
Yeah.
forgot about that. My
Yeah.
bad. So anyway, fortunately, Jack got out there, did his homework, found out we were misinformed. The people found out. The people pushed back,
Right.
and they compelled the commission to abolish the pet tax.
Yeah.
You'll love this here. I went back and looked at the minutes for this here yesterday.
Yeah.
You know what the vote was to abolish the pet tax? 7-7.
I'll be.
It was a tie vote. Guess what? The mayor broke the tie.
I'll be. I can't believe that.
On his own resolution, he broke the tie. I was shocked when I read the minutes. I'm like, damn, I didn't remember that. So that's what happened with the pet tax.
Yeah.
Just to get you guys updated on it.
Pushed it and then voted to remove it.
Yeah. Building permits.
Wow. Lot of talk about that.
Oh my gosh. And
Lot
that
of
is still
questions.
a conversation, and I'm going to say this here right now, and I put it up here. One of the commissioners up here in my district one of the people running for commissioner here, and I'm not going to call his name because I like him. I think he's a good guy. He's got a good heart. Good, really cares. Was contacted by Tommy Page and 2 other commissioners. Now I think I know who those commissioners are, but I have not confirmed it yet.
Right.
But was being put up because they want him to vote for building inspection permits.
Right.
So, and he confirmed it, and I trust him 110%, because you know what? I've known him for a while. Since I pretty much started paying attention to politics, we met, and I've known him. He's called me for help. I've helped him out with issues up here at Parker's Crossroads. Really, really good guy. I think a lot of them. And he supports building inspection permits, and that's fine. I mean, that's his prerogative.
Right.
But what bothers me is here is a sitting commissioner that is calling around trying to get other people to run to get rid of the commissioners who are voting against what he wants.
Right.
Boy, you talking about going against the will of the people. That's a serious concern in my personal opinion.
Right, I agree.
But that's me. So anyway, that's what's going on. Now, let's get back into the permits. Here's where the problem comes in. There was 13 commissioners present that night.
Yeah.
You know, we have 14 commissioners.
Yeah.
There was 13 commissioners present. The vote was 7-6.
Yeah.
7-6. 13 commissioners. 7 plus 6 is 13.
Yeah.
Unless there's some kind of common core math thing I don't know about. Anyway, I shouldn't have thrown that in there. Let's take a look at this here. State law, if I remember correctly, 5 TAC 109,
Yeah.
clearly states that it takes a majority of the commission as a body,
Right.
not the quorum.
That's right.
So they had a quorum there, and so you guys understand what a quorum is means you need to have at least half. No, I'm going to rephrase that there. You need to at least have 8 members. That's a quorum in our county.
Right.
Because it takes 8 members to be able to pass any kind of legislation.
Right.
All right. Well, 7-6 does not pass.
No.
It takes 8.
Yeah.
We don't make the laws. We just share this. Well, we started putting this out here that this failed, this failed, this failed, this failed.
Yeah.
Well, guess what happened?
We had 5 different versions of the minutes.
Yes, we get 5 different versions of the minutes before
Yeah.
we finally get to the right one,
Yeah.
and it had to be tabled. Now, Commissioner Jeff James is the one that, whoa.
Right.
These minutes aren't correct. State law says we got to have 8.
Yeah.
And heck, when I got talking to previous mayors, well, it takes 8 to pass legislation in Henderson County.
Yeah.
Talking to other commissioners who've been there for years and years and years, takes 8 to make it pass.
Right.
Yet they 5 sets of minutes before they got it correct. 4 sets of minutes were incorrect
Yeah.
in stating that this passed.
Yeah. What was really highly alarming about those too is, remember, it went from it passed based on just the vote of the commission to, oh, there was a tie because technically that missing commissioner's like essentially an automatic no vote.
Right.
And Robbie broke the tie.
Right.
But never did that in the meeting.
Right.
Never
Never
talked,
voted, yeah.
never voted,
Never
nothing. Just said
voted.
it. Hey, it passed. Move on to the next thing. And so that's highly alarming. And not only
Right.
that, but that it got reduced to writing in the minutes. So, and the minutes are, from my understanding, are prepared by
The clerk.
right, which
Right.
is a separate elected official.
Right.
Not somebody that works at the behest of the mayor, not somebody that works at the behest of the commission. They're just there as a separately independent elected person to transcribe what took place.
Right.
But we end up with 5 different versions.
Yeah.
Is it that hard to transcribe?
No. But you know what? And it's like you're saying, when they go in here and they try to put stuff in that didn't, when they never mentioned the mayor's vote.
No.
Then when they realize, oh well, it didn't pass this way here, then we're going to throw that the mayor voted in there.
Right.
Now you're sitting here, you're falsifying government documents
100% to try to
and
obtain.
try to pass something illegally.
Right. To try to obtain your will.
Right.
And that's
Yeah.
highly alarming.
That is very alarming.
And what's even more alarming was during that meeting, remember, let's go back, no public comment period.
Exactly.
Whatsoever. So not only did they try to, like I said, fraudulently say it passed, they never even allowed you to speak on it. Like I said, they never allowed anybody in the public to voice their opinion or their concerns or their whatever their feelings were regarding it at all. And that is, like I said, that that really frustrated me, and that's the reason why the next time that when it actually came up for a vote on the minutes, I said, hey, it's kind of ambiguous, and then when it's ambiguous, it goes against the drafter, and we need to allow people to have a public comment on the underlying subject, not just all the versions of the minutes that come out. So that's a conversation in and of itself, but like people actually want to talk about this.
Right.
And then that was the one. We had a few people thrown out, and lambasted, and everything else. But
is that the night you got kicked out?
yeah, same night. Yeah,
Well, I tell you, that was a busy night for removing people out of the courtherhouse.
That's right.
Violating constitutional rights.
Yeah. Because they didn't like what somebody had to say.
That's exactly it.
And then I didn't even say anything about the other than, like I said, just allow people to talk. Just trying to stand up and allow people to have their right. And that's all.
And so, you know what? That meeting alone and everything that happened with that there was so
irregular.
I'm going to say it's detrimental
100%.
to trustful government.
Right.
And
respectful government, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, just bottom line is it is what it is.
Right.
And again, read the thing.
Right.
Take a look. If you follow the link, you'll actually see a couple of sets of those minutes. I know I think I've got 3 sets of the minutes here. I went through. And
one of them, I don't know if I brought you the first one, because I think I actually turned it back in and gave it to her, because the first one it said Cody Essery was appointed as fire chief, not Ussery. And so I got her to correct that, and then she gave me another printed out set. And so I think that was the first version. And like I said, I'm pretty sure there's either 5 or 6 versions that in total were reduced to writing for that.
Once again, I had to go into the trusty box here. We're talking.
Bringing the facts.
Yeah. Facts matter.
Yeah. And they don't really like your feelings a lot of times.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
We're getting in here, right about here. Okay. Now, because all 3 sets of these minutes here are dated February 25th, I'm not really sure which one is which, but I'm going to read it to you based on what I believe it is. Like I said, these are 3 of the 5. Some of it we were not able to get... we were told about, but we weren't able to get copies of. But let's go in here. Number 1, what I believe to be the first set of minutes. Motion made by Commissioner Tommy Page, seconded by Commissioner Jack Johnson, to approve the residential home inspection program. Motion carried by a vote of 7 ayes, 6 nays. And it goes in Commissioners your nays are Commissioner Jeff James, William Carter, Todd Beecham, Terry Allen, Andy Anderson, and Nick Peterson. Commissioner Randall Keene was absent. Okay, now this here is another set of these minutes.
Yeah, and listen to who made the motion and seconded it.
Yeah. Now this one here says, motion made by Commissioner Page, seconded by Commissioner Blake Stanfield.
Yeah.
Now the first set of minutes says the second was made by Commissioner Jack Johnson.
Yeah.
To approve the resolution for the residential home inspection program. Motion carried by a vote of 7 ayes and 6 nays. Commissioner Jeff James, William Carter, Todd Beecham, Terry Allen, Andy Anderson, and Nick Peter were the nays. Commissioner Randall Keene was absent. Now here's another set that we've got.
Yeah.
Motion made by Commissioner Tommy Page. Now we're back to seconded by Commissioner Jack Johnson to approve the residential home inspection program. Motion failed due to Statute 5, Tac 5, Tac 109, requiring a majority of 8 from full commission by a vote of 7 ayes and 6 nays.
Yeah.
Commissioners Jeff James, William Carter, Todd Beecham, Terry Allen, Andy Anderson, and Nick Peterson.
Yeah.
Commissioner Randall.
So we're missing the one that has where it shows that Rob McCready voted.
Yeah, I'm missing that one there.
Yeah, because the first, that was one of the, all right, so
and
when I
one
went
other
there,
one somewhere.
So when I went there the first or second time, I don't remember, I think it was the first time, and she handed me that, and I gave her the correction about the Cody Ussery spelling. It also said on there that he voted in favor of this, that he broke the tie. And I told her, I said, I'll be real, because I also asked for a copy of the audio recording, not just the minutes. And I said, it'll be real interesting to see if your audio recording has him voting in this, because I don't remember that happening, because I was there at the meeting. And at the end of the day, as soon as I said that to her and had the copy of the minutes in my hand and I walked out, she pretty much ran out of the office. I mean, she ran right up to the mayor's office and was like, oh no, this is not going to be good. And so that's where we ended up with, like I said, all these different versions. So.
I'm looking right now to see. If I can find
The one where it shows the
Cody.
I don't think that one ever got out in the public. Like I said, I'm pretty sure I corrected. That was the first one I got where it said Cody Ussery, and I was like, I don't believe that's his name. I'm pretty sure it's Ussery. And like I said, I wasn't 100% at that time how to spell it, but I was like, I know it's Ussery. And I was like, that's a pretty big deal to be nominated as the fire chief or appointed as the fire chief. I said, so at the end of the day, like we need to get his name correct. And so
I'm trying to see where this was, where it was in this minutes. Well, and then this in the minutes, I don't see it.
let me see right quick.
Here, take a look. Here you go.
Oh, that's the different meeting. That's January.
Oh, never mind. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't put all this stuff back.
See.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you right now.
See.
If the head wasn't attached, boy.
That's the February meeting right here.
Yep, that's one of them. I'm trying to make sure I got them all. This is a February meeting, and this is a February meeting.
That's on
Okay,
the second
here we
or
go.
third page.
I think that's the third one there.
Yeah, so item 4, it says second by Commissioner Black to appoint Cody Ussery as the new fire chief.
All right, now in the first one I got here, which said it passed 7-6 with nothing else, it has his name correct.
Yeah, like I said, that's what I'm pretty sure the first one where it had his name spelled incorrect never got out.
Okay, so I don't have the true first one.
Yeah, because like I said, I just gave it back to her and she reprinted it after the other one.
So anyway, we just want to let you guys know about that there and what happened there and what's going on. That is a serious concern.
Right.
When they're trying to falsify government documents to illegally pass a resolution.
100%.
So let's move on to the next one there because we're getting in here at 2 hours.
Yeah, that's the last one.
Yeah.
If I'm not. No, maybe one more.
Well, I already did the property tax thing.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So let's see here. Okay, I think that was. Yeah. Okay. Getting down here, and we've kind of covered this here, the last little bits up in this here, but I'll just kind of go over it. And a lot of our money. Yes. Have we had growth? Have we had additional revenue and come in? Yeah, we do have additional revenue, but you know what? The county was able to save money by using ARPA funds for something that may have been already on the budget.
Right.
So they could just pull it out of ARPA and
that was a huge block of money they come in. I don't remember what it total value was, but I mean it was several $1 million, if I'm not mistaken.
I want to say it was like 5.4 million is what our ARPA funds were.
It was a lot.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
So that ARPA funds, I know they purchased a lot of stuff with ARPA funds,
Right.
which would have pulled money. They would not have to spend the money that would have been allocated in the general fund, fund for it, in the budget already.
Right.
They could just use the ARPA funds. So yeah, and that makes it look like, oh well, we've done something.
Right.
Well, no, you just had some money, as they call it, free money from the
Right.
government,
Yeah.
federal government,
Yeah.
our tax dollars, that came back in and helped pay for this stuff, and that therefore that reduced our budget amount because we could plug the ARPA funds in there.
That's right.
And then it looks like, oh well, hey, we got some additional money here.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
Don't need to raise taxes.
Right.
Okay.
But we need to raise taxes.
But we need to raise taxes. Yeah, we're still asking for. We know of two, and I haven't gotten the minutes from the budget cycle during the 23 season. I don't know if there was ever a presentation to increase the property taxes back then.
I'm not sure on that one.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I know of the last two. They've asked for property tax increases.
Right. And like I said, caused some real hostility with the city and county because it's like, we
Yeah.
would have had this had you not proposed something just absolutely ludicrous. You know what I'm saying? But then you got everybody up in a tizzy about it. And so
But
now
we wanted to propose a ludicrous one too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So why are y'all doing it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Also in here, we talked about the ARPA funds. We talked about the money coming back in from the sales tax growth,
Right.
which really needs to be here to help the county.
Right.
And the school board always is pleading, and we need it.
Right.
And and yes, I'm already being told, and I don't know this here, and I'll have to find out.
Yeah.
But I'm being told that the school board is stockpiling money again.
I have no idea. Wouldn't surprise me.
So if they're stockpiling money, why are we giving them any growth?
Right.
Period.
Right.
We don't need to give you the growth if you don't need it.
No.
Now, and the fact is, if you're telling us in your maintenance of effort, this is what I need,
Right.
then we shouldn't give you any more.
Right.
Because you're telling us what you need, and then that money can come back in here and help our roads,
Right.
or help fix other issues that we've got.
100%.
You know, it's crazy.
Right.
Okay, coming back in here a little bit more too. You know, we talked about with the money and stuff.
And just so everybody knows, I'm pretty sure the school budget is like $40 million or something like that, if I'm not mistaken, Board Show. It's a significant chunk
Yeah,
of money.
it
is. I mean,
I know it's in the.
they just, just posted the other day.
Yeah. All right, this is
Go over to Andy's.
24-25. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
This isn't. This is. And I don't like the way this one here is written up. It's. Trying to find. All right. Huh. 40,158,000. Now this was from 24 for fiscal year 25. This was from last year, so it would probably be higher this year.
Yeah, 25-26 is 40,316,000, and 2026-2027 is 40,898,000. So just shy of $41 million.
So a lot of money.
Pretty big chunk of change.
Yes, it is a pretty
Yeah.
big chunk of change.
Yeah. Where's it all go? I'm not sure. You know
That's
what I'm
right,
saying?
yeah,
Like that's
Yeah.
that's a lot, and a lot.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And we still got major issues in our school buildings.
Yeah. Hey, we'll work on that. Like I said, I think we got a pretty decent plan coming up. I mean, I think your people are gonna be real surprised.
Well, I hope so. It's,
Yeah.
something needs to be taken care of there. But
Yeah.
anyway, that's kind of just giving you guys a recap of that of that post and what it's about. You know, what you do with the information we share, it's yours.
Yeah.
I mean, do what you want to do with it.
If you have questions, concerns, comments, engage. Like I said, come back to us. You know, question us. We don't mind providing the information, links, answering questions further. Like I said, that is, you know, what we're supposed to do.
Hold on just 1 second.
Uh-oh. So we're going to wrap this thing up, too. I gotta get in bed at some point in time.
You're a young buck.
Yeah, well, I got up at 4 this morning. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's storming over with hail at Westover. Yeah, we've had storms just pass through here.
Yeah.
It's you don't ever know in Tennessee. I mean,
Yeah.
y'all definitely be vigilant and safe out there. But anyway, we wanted to get you guys up with everything that's going on. I know we're long-winded in this here. It is what we do.
But the devil's in the detail.
It is. The devil is definitely in the details. And you know, something else I want to leave you guys here with. Early voting has started. 271 yesterday, 284 today, 555 votes in the first 2 days of early voting. That's pretty strong.
That's pretty stout.
Yeah, and if it continues somewhere around the 250 average, in a 15-day cycle is what we got here. We got to pull off almost like it here. Let's see, because we got some weekends in there. 1, 2, 3.
Now, you people better make sure you're bona fide.
8, 9,
Just
10,
messing.
11, 12.
And if just throwing out one other thing, Bert Staggs made a I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, pretty interesting thought on that and where it could possibly go. But it is kind of interesting to see. We're obviously talking about going to a closed primary system. They're talking about going away from open to closed primaries, which means you're going to become a card-carrying member in order to vote in the primaries and stuff. And they're going to try to reduce down any type of swapping. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not going to be able to go to one party or another. And which is kind of at the end of the day, they try to say, well, it's not an election. This is just for the primary candidate. You're determining the primary. So you're not preventing your voting rights. But at the end of the day, we pretty much realize, in our county, well, the real election for most of these positions are in the primary. You're not going to see anybody else running.
Well, let's look at this election here.
Yeah.
If we had closed primaries in this election,
Yeah.
any independent or any Democrat voter would only have 2 votes that they could cast in the general election, because they would not be able to vote in this primary.
Right.
And what it would have been was, there is in I think it's District 5 or 6. The constable is there's 1 Republican and 1 independent, and then obviously the only other vote that a Democrat or independent would have would be on August 6th, when you're running against whoever the Republican candidate is coming forward.
Right.
So, bottom line is, you wouldn't be able to vote for any of your commissioners.
Right. Well, I mean, you'll vote, but like I said, it's already determined.
Yeah, it's already determined. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. You can vote for the 2 that's already been picked by the Republican Party.
But that's it.
Yeah, so you have no choice in who you would pick. You're stuck with it.
Right. Which
So-
there's another conversation going around too, is whether or not at the same time we'll just do away with primaries altogether and just have a general election.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, and like I said,
Let the
that may be
best man win.
Yeah, that may be the better option. Really, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, and that, to me, that's a little more fair. Or now I was talking to oh shoot, I don't remember who it was, but anyway, we're talking about I don't remember which county it was. Oh, over in Decatur County, and they used to pick by caucuses.
Yeah.
Now, and we just had a caucus here in Henderson County,
Yeah.
picking for certain positions.
Was it no, it wasn't magistrate. It was. Oh my gosh, I can't think of the name
I
of
can't.
it.
Yeah, I can't think of the name of it too.
Chancellor.
Yeah.
Chancellor.
So in other words, that's not a vote. That is the party picking who they want to run.
Right.
So,
Or a limited segment of it. So like you got to go there, and it was up to, if I'm not mistaken, 60-something people in
Right,
Henderson
right.
County, 60 or 100, somewhere in like that. No, it was 100 in Madison County, 60 here, and so the first 60 people that were come in and bona fide Republicans and everything else, they got to essentially elect who was going to be that representative, or
Right,
who was going
right.
to go forward as the party representative at
Right.
in that election. And I think there's only like 20 or 30 people from Henderson County that showed up.
yeah.
So,
We didn't have enough. Yeah.
to fill the caucus.
Yeah. So bottom line is, you're almost, unless you got somebody running as a Democrat or an independent, the Republicans are almost guaranteed to be able to put in who they want to put in,
That's right.
and nobody else has any say whatsoever.
That's right.
That's what it really boils down to.
Yeah.
That's what Bert's trying to get at, is that's what he thinks is going to happen.
Right. Well, not only that, but he went even further to say that, like, let's say in this this primary right here that there's 3,000 or 4,000 people that vote, but only 20% are bona fide, right?
Right.
Well, you could pull the list and, like I said, see how many you voted in, past
Right.
primaries, right? And so then what happens if the candidate that loses turns around and sues and says, well, there was all these people that voted that weren't bona fide. You need to count only the bona fide members, not the non-bona fide. And so could they essentially come back in and then have it essentially recounted on just the bona fide votes and seeing if they won?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And understand what's being said there.
Yeah.
In other words, look, I'm going to throw some hypotheticals out there so I don't upset anybody.
Yeah.
So make sure I don't upset anybody. Let's say in the mayor's primary that Shelley Alexander wins,
Right.
and Gary Riffle's not happy about this.
Right.
So Gary comes in and he sues and says, and I got to remember, and he would have very good grounds to stand on, because they've got that sign sitting in the election in every single precinct
That's right.
that says you have to be bona fide to vote.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden Gary comes in and challenges it and says, you know what? I want to see your voters list.
Right.
So they go back in, and all it would take is enough to say, let's say Gary gets, I'm going to hypothetically speak again, people.
Right.
Gary gets 2,600 votes, Shelley gets 2,700 votes,
Right.
and Gary goes back in and he sees that there are 100 votes difference. Gary only lost by 100 votes. Gary goes back in and says, well, look what? You've got 150 people who aren't bona fide. I'm now going to challenge this here in a court of law,
Right.
and more than likely will win,
Right.
because of the language that's put out here that is being forced into the
Right.
the voting polls and the
Right.
precincts.
And this is how it would work though. Like he wouldn't be able to see, you kind of look down through there and guess, look at their
Right.
names, who they voted for, whatever. But you would remove all of the non-bona fide members,
Right.
and then retally the votes based on just the bona fide and see how that shook out. And so, I mean, you're kind of
Well,
gambling, but, at the end of
but the thing is, if they removed all the non-bona fide
Oh, yeah.
bona fide voters, it doesn't matter because you don't know who anybody votes for.
right,
So there's no way to tell. All he's got to do is say, look, I lost by 100, but you got 150 that's not bona fide.
right,
So how do you know I lost?
right. But how do you know that? How do you know that 150 that voted for are non-bona fide? Like I said, so what it would do is,
Well, I
is
mean,
you
well,
would-
the fact is you can tell by their voting record, number one.
right, but you don't know who they voted for in that election. Is what I'm saying.
Right, but what I'm saying, no, what I'm getting at, and I think this what
They would have.
you don't know who anybody votes for.
That's right.
But you can tell if a voter is bona fide or not.
That's correct.
Bona fide, whatever the hell the word is.
Yeah.
If you've got 100 voters, that 150 voters that are not bona fide,
Right.
and Gary lost by 100, it doesn't matter if you remove them or not. He could go into court and said, well, those 150 votes probably voted for Shelley.
Right.
He can't prove it, but what he can say is, you can't tell me I lost this election because you don't know if those 150 who are not bona fide
Right.
voted for her or voted for me.
Right. Exactly. And so you've got to retaliate.
Right.
Like I said, you've got to remove all
No,
non-bona
you
fide.
all right. You removed all non-bona fide voters, but what do you still have, Shelley?
That's right. I don't know how it shakes out. You're
How
kind
you
of
shake
gambling.
out because at this point in time frame,
That's right.
you don't know what each person's vote was.
That's right.
The only way to do it is to redo the election. Now, I mean, this is ignorance to the extreme
Right.
of. They have created a problem that can be a massive problem that could flood our court systems.
Right. And cost us money.
And cost the taxpayers a crap load of money
Right.
over elections
Yeah.
because they're trying to control it without actually doing the smart thing and actually control it by either closing the primaries or just getting rid of them.
Right. Yeah. Agreed.
There's no way they can fix the problems because you want to tell you what will end up happening?
Why?
I'll tell you exactly what will happen. Number one is they're going to lose bona fide voters.
Oh yeah.
They're going to lose good, I'm not going to say bona fide voters, they're going to lose Republican voters
Right.
because if they close the primary,
Yeah. They're not going to sign up.
and so, well, even if they sign up, are they going to get kicked out? Because guess what? They didn't vote in the last 3 or 4.
Right.
Well, all of a sudden now you've got good Republicans who didn't vote in the primary.
Right.
Did you just boot it off the freaking? Can't be a Republican.
Right.
They can't. And then how do you ever enter anybody else into the system?
Right.
Because they never have.
Made that.
They've never had the voting.
Right.
So I mean, it's the most ignorant thing I've ever seen
Oh, I agree.
from people that we've got at the state level representing us.
Yeah. Agreed.
I mean, it is just. Ken Walker told me one time. He said our state government used to be in pretty damn good shape because we used to elect attorneys,
Yeah. Statesman.
statesmen,
Yeah.
and people who actually wanted to do the right thing.
Right.
And now we've got a bunch of people who's trying to control everything, and it has just got it so screwed up.
Right. And a lot of them don't have the understanding of law, like I said, to
That's
write proper laws, and like I said, that are not only like
It-
proper, but like constitutionally based. You know what I'm saying, and are able to function in a manner that like you can actually operate underneath.
Right.
At the end of the day, like this was just a ludicrous thing, and now they're like, oh well, now we got to do something else. Now we got to put in the closed primary system, and it's like, yeah, that's what you had to do to begin with.
And,
so-
and let's go back in here and let's look at something here now.
Right.
Let's go back and let's sit there and say, okay, all right, I'm not bona fide because I didn't vote in 3 of the 4 last elections.
Right.
And you've kicked me out of the party.
Right.
But yet I can show you hundreds of thousands of dollars in receipts where I have donated to the party,
Right.
which should make me bona fide, but because of the way the GOP bylaws are written,
Right.
well, then the
Three, four.
next thing you know what happens? This guy, girl, picks up and says, you know what? I'm going to hire an attorney and I'm going to sue them
Right.
because they've kept me out of an organization that I have done everything to, with the exception of one thing.
Right.
But I've given hundreds of thousands of dollars, and this is what they've done to me.
Right.
They've taken my money, and now I have no say for my money
Right.
because I can't vote in it
Right.
because they kicked me out or kept me out because I didn't meet their bona fide status. Now, of course, they're going to say, well, if you're willing to sign this affidavit and swear
Your
allegiance to
yeah.
it,
Your
then we'll
affiliation.
forgive that.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't tell you what's going to happen there? Democrats and independents are going to sit there and say, well, you know what? I'm in Henderson County, and you're kudos for you for running as an independent.
Right.
But a Democrat's going to say, there ain't no way in hell I'm going to get elected here in Henderson County.
Right.
So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to attest that, hey, yes, I'm support the Republican Party.
Right.
And then guess what you guys going to end up with? What I got in Virginia. We got a governor who come in here and act like they were moderate, and come to find out is strong liberal. I mean, strong liberal.
Yeah.
Doing gun control that is out.
Yeah, not libertarian,
Outrageous.
liberal.
Yeah, liberal. Yeah, no libertarian. We're
Yeah.
talking straight up liberal.
Yeah.
And changed everything in our state.
Yeah.
That's what you'll end up seeing.
Oh,
You're going to start seeing a whole lot more rhinos when that happens.
And we already got quite a few now.
Yes, we got quite a few.
Yeah, let's be honest.
It's going to get worse.
Oh, no doubt.
They just need, but the thing is, they don't want to have open primaries because now they can't control who their buddy is getting elected.
That's right. And I've talked to a few people too that are like they're pretty pissed about it because like they've said they've gone back and forth between parties voting in the primaries because they were like, I like the person that was in this other party running, and so I wanted to make sure that they got through the primary into the general election. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that I could vote for them in the general election. And
Right.
It's like, hey, I get that 100%. You know, and I'm talking about people that are, you know, you talk to them now like die-hard Republicans. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they're like, oh, I liked Bill Clinton back in the day, so I voted for him. You know, and
I have had a bunch of people tell me the same thing.
Yeah. Lots.
Then all of a sudden, you know what? You're going to have somebody sitting there saying, you know what? We
You can't ever do that. No, absolutely not. And that people don't really like being controlled. I'm telling you.
No,
right
they
now.
don't like being
Yeah,
controlled
and so
at all.
I think this may backfire in a real big way.
Yes, and it
Real
will
big
end
way.
up. You know, it's going to end up being the Republican Party is going to be
Sad.
yeah.
Real sad, I think. Maybe
And
not. Maybe I'm wrong.
They're gonna,
Maybe I'm crazy.
their thirst for control is going to eventually push it back into a liberal state.
Right.
I got a comment here from.
All right. But I said, we might wrap it up. It's
Yeah.
9:20. What do you say?
Tim's dream.
Oh, yeah.
Leave your guns with me. Get ready to plant your pansies.
It's funny.
It's an inside joke with Blake, Tim, and I.
Yeah.
About
That's
me
funny.
going back to Virginia. Tim's doing everything he can to keep me here.
Yeah.
That's. But it's coming. Anyway, we're not. Yeah, 2 hours 20 minutes. Good gosh.
Yeah.
We still got a tremendous following up here right now. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
We really can't express enough. You know, you guys listening, especially when we get into these things. I mean, they get long.
Yeah.
But as Blake said, the devil really is in the details.
Yeah.
And this is where, you know, paying attention, where we try to do everything to get this information to you.
Right.
And coming back in and sharing this so you have it
Right.
for when election times come around, so you know what to look at.
Right, 100%. Because sometimes the best information is your past history. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, like, what have you done in the past? What have you advocated for? Because you sold a bill of goods right now. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people out here that are pander to anybody and their mama to try to get a vote. Yeah, and like I said, I'll tell you exactly what I think. You know what I'm saying? Right to your face. I said, I've had a few people that have come up, you know, pretty hot. One the other day.
The other night.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, you know, it wasn't trying to necessarily hurt her feelings, but try to highlight some of the issues that we have,
Right.
and like I said, talk about it and bring it out. And because at the end of the day, real issue we have here in the county, and you know, how can we go about resolving it?
Well, you know, and if I'm going to tell you right now, this is just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
If you're responsible for an issue,
No.
own it.
Oh, 100%.
If there is part of your job requirements is for you to fix these issues, then fix them.
Right. And
Don't get upset when you get called out.
Right, 100%. Well, and if you have an issue with trying to fix it, like I said, you can't, you don't know where to go, you got to bring other people involved, reach out, get help.
Heck, that's it.
That's what
Reach
you got to
out.
do. Yeah. And
You know,
that's
tell you what, anybody that needs any help with anything,
Right.
feel free to give me a call. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know. I know some stuff, but I don't know everything.
Right. But
I know somebody somewhere that does.
Right, and that's what I told him. I was like, at the end of the day, I will help you. Like I said, try to work through these problems.
That's it.
Like I said, at the end of the day, like I said, if it's not 100% in you, and there's other departments that are causing some of these issues, by all means, like I said, I will do everything I can to help. Everybody wants to go, like I said, it's one thing kind of Florida. Oh, mayor's got all this power. Like mayor really don't have power over nothing.
No.
You know, well, you're not over jail. That's right. Like I'm not over jail, but I'm also not over the purse strings of nothing either, really. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, but like I can just highlight issues. I can advocate for them. I can try to bridge gaps and be a liaison between state, federal. At the end of the day, our circuit court clerk or the TDOC. Like, hey, we got an issue here.
Right.
Where's the breakdown? What's the problem? And like I said, how can we go about resolving this so that we don't continue to see these things happening in our jail?
And you know, and one other thing too, I will say about a mayor
Yeah.
that we should have is that mayor should also be, yeah, granted, there's bridges to other things that help government,
Right.
but the mayor should be our bridge to the citizens.
100%.
To be able to get out there and truly be transparent.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now, when people tell me that, oh, I'm going to be transparent, I keep hearing that word and I'm just like, no.
Right.
I've seen you not be transparent.
Right.
You're lying.
Yeah.
Because you are lying to me and I don't care what you say.
Right.
You're lying to everybody else because we've already seen your track record.
Right.
You can't escape your actions.
Right.
If you truly want to serve and be for the people, then you need to be for them.
Right.
But what happens is so many people get up there with their own agenda and they don't care about the people.
That's right.
They're trying to figure out a way they can make money and help their buddies make money
That's right.
off of our dime.
Yeah.
And you know what we end up with? Crap infrastructure that we've got here. Crap
right.
roads, crap pipes,
Right.
plumbing, water. It's just we've got so many issues that's just not getting fixed because they're trying to figure out their way to get their slice of taxpayers' money. You know, that's just the end of the day. That's what happens.
Right.
And you want to tell you what? I know right now for a fact because I've been hearing a lot of it. The only thing they argue is they try to attack people's character who exposes them for who
Oh,
they
yes,
are.
100%. Yeah.
That's all they've got.
Yeah.
Because never, not once, I have asked this, I've said it 100 times on these podcasts and in posts, if you want to challenge me for any information I put out, come up here.
Right.
But the only thing they ever want to do is attack character.
100%.
If we can make him look bad, then people won't believe him.
Right.
You know what? You don't have to believe me. Believe the proof we provide to you.
100%.
That's it.
Yeah. Come
So,
debate.
that's come up and
I'll
debate.
debate anybody. Like I
Well,
said. And I'll, if I'm wrong, if you can prove me wrong, I'll admit I'm wrong and go out there and tell people I'm wrong. Like I said, at the end of the day, I have no problem with that whatsoever.
Well, see, and I'm hoping that something like that there happens is after this Republican primary,
Right.
that there is a call for a debate for the two mayor candidates.
Oh, I'm down. I'm down
So-
now, down later. Like I said,
Well, let's find out who you got to debate. But
I'll debate anybody.
'cause I
Like
will
said.
say this here that I was really impressed with is the forum at Parker's Crossroads.
Oh
overnight.
man, yeah.
When it allowed the citizens to get up and ask questions, and then we started getting comments bounced off of different candidates.
Oh yeah.
That to me was probably the best thing
100%.
because we got to see a lot more about candidates at that
Yeah.
point.
Did they really have in-depth knowledge on things, or did they just have talking points, or did
Right.
they even say anything at all because they realized they didn't?
Yeah, because they were outside the conversation.
Right.
Right. I think to me that would be huge for the county citizens.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys,
Appreciate it.
2.5 hours almost. You guys stay safe out there. Have a great week. We are going to be off for a little while.
Yeah.
We'll keep you updated with as the election commission shares the numbers. We're not reaching out to them. We're going to share from their page.
Yeah.
They're doing the work, so just let you know. We're just going to share what they put out there, so you guys can keep up with the numbers and voting.
And the other thing I'll just mention about the election commission too, a lot of the information that we have to provide to them, from like campaign finance disclosures, personal finance, all that, like that is open records. Like you
Right.
can go there and look and see. And I think a lot of people will be kind of surprised at like how much money people spend
Yeah,
on campaign.
yeah.
I
You-
mean,
yeah,
it
you'd be
is
shocked.
unreal.
Right.
Unreal. Which, you know, like I said, I'm just in there. I'm a little over, right around $3,000 right now, and like I said, I'm going to stay below $5,000. Like that's, and I haven't taken money from anybody. Not going to. Like this didn't. I don't want anybody to ever feel like I owe them anything whatsoever. But I'm also not going to go out there and throw $20,000 into a campaign. Like I said, I think that it'd be much better for me to like. I like production and value, and I just feel like, you know, getting elected, like it's just votes on a piece of paper. Like I don't have anything tangible to hold afterwards or produce or
Right,
show
right,
for this, other
right.
than like, yeah, I'm elected now.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you know, that's why I need people's help. Like I said, getting around, you know, share the word. Like I said, you know, have
Well, you know,
people talk about me.
and two, when you look at those things there, I mean,
Right.
if somebody is willing to spend that much money on something,
Yeah, for
they're-
power.
right, for power is what it is.
Yeah, or notoriety. A lot of
Right,
times,
yeah.
in this instance, like I said, not a lot of power in
Yeah.
there.
You know, so yeah, well, yeah, that's true too. But
Yeah.
yeah, it blows my mind.
Right.
Anyway, we're getting off here. Y'all have a wonderful night. I don't know what kind of weather we got coming. I know tomorrow is going to be a hot one, and it's probably going to be humid with with the rain we've got now.
But thank the Lord we got some.
Yeah,
It was
we
dry.
definitely need the rain, but
Yeah.
it's supposed to cool down some again, get back into seasonal
70s.
temperament. So,
Yeah.
y'all have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Thank you for sticking in here with us. We really, truly do appreciate everybody.
Yeah.
Y'all have a good night, and we'll catch you next time around. Just keep an eye on the page for the early voting totals.
Yeah.
Have a good one.